and welcome to the Seahawkers podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Schultz, and I am joined by a couple of my good buddies. We've got Clinton Bonner. We've got Adam Emmert. I'm going to start with the guy who got us off to a rocky start. How you doing, Clinton?
Oh, I'm great. Hot route from Hartford to Denver to a boathouse. Guys, we were on a boat last night. I was on a boat. Had a lot of fun in Gig Harbor, and we are in a bumping room, absolutely packed at the Clearwater Casino. Adam, how about you, dude? How the vibes, bud?
Oh, the vibes are off the charts here. Clearwater Casino and Resort. Big thanks to you guys for having us out here. Big thanks to Little Flocker Christopher Hart for having us out here and being able to be a part of this huge event. This room is packed, and Brandon, there's a table full of current and former Seahawks that's pretty impressive right out here.
They are on the opposite side of the room from us. I can see Earl Thomas. I have a window of view to him. I know we've got Brady Russell here. We've got Julian Love here. And, we've got, a room full of maybe close to 500 Seahawks fans.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. And, it is super cool. And, by the way, when you address Brady Russell, can we say fullback?
Right.
Newly married, fullback, beautiful-haired Brady Russell.
He was introduced with his position change. No longer a tight end. He was introduced here at We're Breaking News, fullback Brady Russell. And we've got Aaron F. coming in with an early super chat, $1.99. Thinking we trade back? I don't know, guys. I feel like, we need to take a pick. If we're here, what are we doing?
Hey, man, if John trades out of the first round and we traveled all this way to do this, I'm going to send a little bit of hate mail to John. But big thank you to Aaron for the super chat for sure, man. And is there a possibility we trade back? I think that there's equally as high a chance of John Schneider possibly trading up, Clinton. We were talking a little bit before we got on the pod. And one of the things that I find interesting about this draft is that we do have so much ammo. And in a draft where everybody says the meat and potatoes of it, second and third round, does John hang on to those picks and try to just draft starters in the second and third round? Or does he package those up and try to move up into, say, maybe even the top 10 and try to get one of the few elite players in this draft?
Well, if you're asking me, and I believe you are, Adam, I would prefer that we package things up and actually be aggressive and move up. Because my take on this, Flock, is that we don't need 10 new players. It's cool. We got a whole caboodle of dudes to go pick. We got 10, but we got 5 in the first 92. I'd much prefer we actually go to town with those. And you know me, I've been loving on Tyler Warren, since Jump Street, months ago now. If it's not Tyler Warren, I still love some Colston Loveland. I would love to land Loveland with Love in the house. How about you, Brandon?
I don't know if you necessarily have to trade up too much, but I think that Colston Loveland could be there for us at some point. So we'll have to see about that. We've got Ryan911, our live executive producer, helping produce this live show. And he sent us $9.99 in a super chat for a new audio cable. We've got all the cables that we need, Ryan. It's just putting them together in the order they're supposed to be and streaming live for the first time at a live event. I feel pretty good that it only took me, 5 or 10 minutes to actually figure it out.
I mean, it's going to come out of your pay, but overall, you did great. And it's awesome that it all finally came together. Shout out to RJ Taylor in the comments saying I'd be zero help on this. And true. It turned out to be true.
Well, one thing we can say for sure, dudes, is that the beautiful set we see here, this handcrafted set that's in front of us and behind us, you had a lot to do with that, Adam. So, and I think maybe you had a little help as well, maybe a shout out to do.
This was a fun little project to do. And big shout out to Brittany. She did all the epoxy work on everything, like the light up sign, the light up front of the desk, the light up top and all of that. That's all Brittany. She did all the cool stuff and turned out well enough to where it'll work for one night. Probably fell apart directly after that, but I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to do this. I said I kind of wanted to do something, and you both were like, yeah, sure, just do it. I asked for input, and you're like, no, just do it. And so here we are. I hope it's cool.
He was supposed to send me a picture and reveal it before we got here, and I saw it live, but that didn't happen either. We've got Shane Turner Acoustic coming in from Australia saying, morning, dudes. Thanks for all your coverage and hard work. I'm a trade out for the right value guy for the team. Stick and pick for your guys. That's where I'm kind of in that camp too, because it's kind of a wait and see to see who's available on the board at number 18, if you're not trading up and going to get your guy and you're hanging back to see who might fall to you, hey, if you get some additional draft picks to where now maybe you're picking another guy in the second or third round and only moving back a little bit, I could see some that making sense.
Well, we did a pod maybe even like 6 weeks ago or 8 weeks ago where we were like, hey, here are some studs that could fall to us. And, we got some tomatoes thrown at us, like, these people will never last. These guys will never last. But again, Adam, last year, all these dudes were not supposed to last. Byron Murphy was not supposed to get to us at pick 16. Then 14 picks in a row are offense, all the way through. One defensive guy in Byron Murphy falls to us. What do you think this year? Possibility of, one of these absolute studs maybe falling in our lap?
Yeah, so we're talking about two different things here. One, an idea of trading back, and then two, the idea of does a stud fall down to us? And I think that there's a high possibility of somebody falling to where we are at pick 18, because the consensus about these players from about 15 to 60 almost is that they're fairly interchangeable in terms of their grades, and nobody really agrees on any of that. So I think we're going to see a lot of surprises of guys that are maybe picked way earlier than a lot of folks think they should, and then also guys that thought they should be picked far earlier following to us. But with everybody being so closely regarded in terms of their grade,
yes,
I wonder if that makes it a little more difficult for John to trade back, and if there's going to be a lot of people that are interested in spending ammo to move up when they feel like they can get a similarly graded player maybe at their pick.
When you're thinking about ways that things that might make it difficult within this draft too, I think one of the complicating factors for me is Shedeur Sanders and where he goes in the draft, because for one, I think if he gets past the first 5 picks or so, that means that there's not a team that's willing to really go up and get him. And then so if he starts falling, like how many of those teams are thinking when a team's giving him a call, hey, they're coming up to try and get Shedeur, because quarterbacks tend to have a little bit more value, and I would want to try and fleece a team, get a little bit more if they're coming up for a quarterback. But if he continues to slide, I almost feel like there has to be a point to where teams kind of get over that, trying to really dig for some extra compensation. But where is that point within the first round? I don't know.
I mean, maybe it stops with Pittsburgh potentially at the 21. Clearly, they don't have a quarterback, so that's a place. Saints are sitting at 9. Are the Saints willing to trade backwards a little bit because of that slide, the Shedeur slide that might be there? Maybe they covet Sanders and they feel like they can move back a bit and still get their guy. That's really the optimal move, right? I mean, like if you could make a move in the first round, it is to trade back and still get your dude. So maybe that could be to our advantage. All I know is last year when all those quarterbacks got jammed in and all those offensive players got jammed in, we were the beneficiary of that. So for all the flockers out there, the more obviously more quarterbacks. For me, more wide receivers we could see go early, more running backs that might go before 18. There's a good possibility that besides Genty, that Hampton might go, and even Henderson could be, somebody could want to trade up and go get him. The more the merrier for those dudes. Those are the types of players that I think we should be licking our chops every single time a dude like that gets picked. And then we're sitting there going, all right, we got the cream of the crop falling to us. And that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if anybody tries to trade up and go and get a running back or somebody of that ilk just because of the position.
Wait, you'd be surprised if Jerry Jones?
Okay, I'm never surprised at anything Jerry Jones does because he has his own way of going about things.
Okay.
But the two position groups I do think you could see that for would be quarterback and offensive line because they are so coveted, and especially at the tackle position. There's a lot of teams that are searching for tackles right now. There's really a dearth throughout the league. No, dearth is the opposite. Dearth is a lot, right?
No, that's girth. You're thinking of girth.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, it doesn't make no never mind to me. But at the end of the day, it'd be one of those two position groups, I think, that they would likely be trading up for, mainly just for the extra fifth-year contractual control, especially for quarterbacks. But to me, Brandon, trading up to get that fifth-year option for Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart, that's insanity. That's
Well,
insane.
we benefit from insanity, though, I think is what Clinton's trying to say. Like, we want to see some insane moves happen ahead of Seattle, so that way it pushes down maybe some of the talent that John Schneider's looking for. And we've got a talented new member of the flock. We've got Peter Andrew coming in. Welcome to the flock, to Peter. And we've got Aaron F. coming in saying, I like the rumor that the Browns or Giants are looking to get back into the first. And one pod I listened to said we could get high second, third, late round pick in next year's first. Well, I would have to, where it works, let's see, if they were trying to move up from the early second round and trying to get into the first round, yeah, we could get a next year's first round pick, and we could probably get their second, obviously, going back. And, you know, if you can get an additional pick in there too, then that's a lot to fall back to, though. If you're going completely out of the first day and early into day two, I like the idea of having a bunch of picks on day two, but I kind of want to pick somebody today.
Yeah, I think I'd have to remove my emotion from that. Being here, I'm getting pretty emotional. Like, I want to see it happen. But that particular offer that's on the screen, though, I would take it. I would take it and run, because then the Giants are picking like 33 or something like that. So I would be happy with that. Wouldn't be, you know, a satisfying thing for today to be live here, but it's a good deal.
It'd be interesting, but would you be more interested in trading back and not picking today if the picks were for this year's draft, or does it bother you more that additional pick would be for next year's draft?
For me, that actually doesn't matter for me. I know you got to be a bit more patient, obviously, if you have to wait till next year. But you know, a one next year for the Browns or Giants theoretically should be a pretty darn good pick.
Hey, look, we've got Brittany in the chat. You guys are doing great.
Hey, well, it's early. We have a long ways to go and lots of opportunities for me to screw it up. So thanks, man.
Love having her here. Well, one other topic too that I think is worthy of talking about is John Schneider the other day was asked about the 5th-year option with Charles Cross. We only have till May 1st, I think, to declare, are we going to get that 5th-year option? And I don't understand what the delay is. Is he just playing coy for the sake of the draft? Like, if Charles Cross is not a slam dunk, take the 5th-year guy at left tackle, then if he's not it, then who is? I'm not saying he's a superstar, but a good left tackle is expensive and not easy to come by.
Yeah, they don't grow on trees,
No.
and it's hard to find one, and we have a darn good one. So, yeah, I would be a strong proponent of John Schneider extending the 5th-year option for Charles Cross. I wonder if the delay happens to be, maybe they're looking to actually re-up him now. And
Good, let's go.
yeah, and actually redo the contract, get him on his second deal.
They got money.
And then go from there. Because if you do that, every time that you sign a guy, the earlier you sign a guy, the better in terms of your cap going forward. They only get more expensive as it goes.
Well, you got the Eagles who do that
Yeah.
and are kind of, renowned to be a savvy team, and Harry Roseman knows what he's doing. And then you have like the Cowboys and Bengals who do the exact opposite and end up in these tug of wars they don't need to be in with star players.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was interesting, because if Cross, I think Schneider's going to do what he's got to do with Cross, just give him the 5th year. But it also really impacts what we might see today. If Kelvin Banks falls from Texas, if Josh Simmons, yes, he has the injury, but if Josh Simmons is there, it's a true tackle, and he falls to 18, do we take him because he's a true tackle? It just becomes really interesting and certainly plays into what we might see in the next couple hours.
Yeah, so yeah, you can see this room. It is massive, and there are a ton of Seahawks fans here, guys, and it's a really cool, really cool setup and venue. I mean, the line that stretches around the outside of this room, this is for everybody trying to get their memorabilia signed and all of that. Big screens everywhere, food, drink, everything. It's pretty awesome, and I didn't know that we had this technical capability, Brandon, to do this. It's pretty impressive, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Look at us go, because just about, it was 20 minutes ago, we couldn't even get the audio to work. Now we have multiple cameras going live.
Yeah.
And that feels pretty darn good.
Now, if we can get it back, that's
There it is. How about that?
Yeah. All right. So are we, is it happening, or are the Titans actually on the clock as it started?
I don't know. I see Clay Matthews. He still looks pretty good. Here he goes.
Yeah, here it is.
Well, we all know what this is, and it's, again, I guess breaking news. It's Tyler Lockett's new team. So Tyler Lockett's about to get a new quarterback, and I don't really care.
Well, I mean, I care in terms of it's interesting to see where the quarterbacks go. Obviously, we all knew that Cam Ward is the presumptive #1 pick here.
Yeah.
Do you think that there is a possibility that the Titans trade out, though? Because for me personally, Cam Ward, first-round quarterback, yes. Is he #1 pick in the draft type quarterback? I mean, this year, clearly, I guess, but I don't know.
I think it all comes down to positional need for the Titans. What are they going to do? Risk rolling with Will Levis next year? And after Cam Ward, I don't blame any other team if they don't want to pick any of the other guys, because there's so much. You said it yourself. He's the safest of the picks, and so I don't think we're going to see a surprise here.
It is. I hear all that, and if I'm a Titans fan, I mean, look, you get excited. It's your guy, so you're gonna get excited. You're gonna buy the Cam Ward jersey. You're gonna try and go see him in an awesome city. With that, I think you kind of have a generational guy sitting there with Travis Hunter that maybe a few years from now, if Cam Ward's kind of going sideways, might be tough to swallow if Travis Hunter is as special as he could be.
I'm having a hard time trying to decide where the big surprise could come from, like the Michael Penix pick, or like Mike on screen saying, "Surprise, it's Mario Williams again." Like that was a little bit of a surprise early on. The first surprise of the draft, I feel like the first 3 are pretty well laid out, but if any one of those guys, if the Giants, if they trade out, if the Patriots trade out, I think that's probably where we'll get our first surprises, probably around pick 3 or 4. But if it just continues to go after that, I'm not sure who's trading up at that point. Could it be the Seahawks? We heard one of those rumors today.
Yeah, the rumors are swirling that, K9 might be on the chopping block. There's rumors that Pete Carroll clearly covets K9, wants him to follow him to Vegas. Could be very interesting. So it's cool that there was so little movement leading up to today. Like, every team has their original pick, 1 through 32. I think it's the first time since the year Joe Montana got traded.
That's insane.
And that happened 5 days. He got traded 5 days before that draft, and then it didn't even happen then. So it's been a long time. So the rumors are that once you do get to the Giants and the Pats at 3 and 4, that things could really start shaking. And that's going to, it's going to be a giant Plinko game. It's really going to impact our Seahawks. So, hey, we're here for it. Let's see where it goes down.
I would guess, for me personally, the first big surprise would be the Jags at 5. Everybody has the Michigan kid, the D-tackle, Michigan. Yep. They have him mocked to going there. It's been that way for months and months and months. But you've been hearing some scuttlebutt here in the last couple of weeks that maybe they're looking at Genty and wanting to go that direction.
You talking about the Seahawks, or you're talking about the
Jags? We were talking about first surprise. That would be
Yeah. And I don't know for the Jags. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but it kind of also where they have some good backs, right? They have ETN, they have Tank. So I think that that would be a little bit of a surprise, but also the Jaguars do weird things as a franchise, and maybe that wouldn't be so weird.
I mean, they're going to be kicked out of the NFL pretty soon, right? Oh, the Americas, and they'll be in London fairly soon. We all know, like, once the Concorde makes its way back, the new type of plane, the Jags are gone. They're going to be the London team. That's already written. They do dumb things. They do weird things. They do dumb things. But I'm not too sure that taking Genty is dumb. Yeah, taking Genty will put some butts in seats. It seems to be, they talk a lot about how many blue chips are there really in this draft? But Genty always gets lumped in with, he's one of them.
Oh, for sure.
So, taking a blue chip, for the BPAs or die out there, even if you don't need Genty, you might be getting that generational talent. So we probably talked a little too much about the Jacksonville Jaguars for my liking.
No, I hear you. That was just my first spot for a surprise. I don't know if you had one, Brandon.
First real surprise, I think, would be, I think it would be in the Patriots. If I were to pick a team that would move back, because they do need offensive line, I don't know if they'd be completely sold on Will Campbell being at number 4. That would kind of, I think, based on what I've seen, that would kind of make the most sense. But whether or not that happens, I don't know. Charlie Malmberg coming in saying, my shocker pick, Will Howard to the Rams in the first.
Oh, thanks, Charlie. I hate it. I don't want that because I think Will Howard's pretty good.
I think Will Howard has a real shot to be a legitimate starting quarterback. I don't see him as having the type of upside to even get to a Stafford type level. I'm not sure that's who he is. He might be, but in my estimation, he's somebody that if he hits kind of his full potential would be a mid-tier to maybe just slightly under that type starting quarterback. I'd love to see the Rams burn a first-round draft pick on a guy that should be there much later, probably like the third or so.
Yeah. We've got A.B. Holmes saying, what are the... Oh, no, A.B. Holmes coming in saying, just us here podcasting in the room. Carly Perkins asking, what are the Titans waiting for? They've been on the clock 8 minutes. I feel like we've known what the pick was going to be for months now, and here they are on the clock. I think that conspiracy theory, I think that the NFL makes them wait to adjust their timeouts accordingly so that way when it comes to the Seahawks pick, that they can go to timeout or they can go to a commercial, and it works out that way.
So conspiracy, Brandon, it's all for the production value then basically for the NFL. Yeah. I would say that they're taking their time here because they're waiting for Tyler Lockett to come back to them and let them know that he would really like to play with Cam Ward. I think that's it. They're just waiting for Tyler's input.
Yeah, $4 million later, Lockett over to the Titans, of course. The other side of the coin is they run all this time down so that when they do get to the Seattle Seahawks, they go to commercial.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's my theory.
You're right. What that guy said then, he's right.
Yeah.
Yes, Dadex, they may be taking trade offers at this point. I just feel like, based on everything that we heard, that them being so solid that they canceled a lot of the other interviews, I don't think that they're going to, and maybe they just wait out the clock because, hey, let's say somebody comes in and gives up their entire draft for the guy, like something silly, like what the Saints did. Yeah, the Dick
Ricky Williams thing. Yeah.
Like, if somebody's going to do that and you want to wait out the clock just to see if it happens, then you go ahead and you take that chance, because if you're the Titans organization and not going anywhere this year anyway, hey, if somebody's going to give you their entire draft for Cam Ward, so be it.
Yeah, I would take that. No one's going to do that, though, because it was dumb then, and it's very dumb now. Yeah, it's like I'd like to speed this up as well, too, boys. I agree. Take it away.
Well, the longer that the draft takes, right? The more commercials they end up running, the more money they make. Keep getting them checks, NFL. Keep getting them checks.
Other Andy speculating that maybe Will Levis cut the phone cord. That considering some of the technical difficulties we had to start,
he shorted it out, spilling a jar of mayo on it.
I was gonna say he may or may not be right. We'll see.
Ooh, that's better.
Thanks to Seahawks Magic Podcast saying set looks dope. Are we at a bar? We are not at a bar, but this is a bar height thing that Adam developed and put together, and we're at the Clearwater Casino. I think we may be broadcasting from the Clearwater Casino bar tomorrow, but we're in a conference room today. If you go back about 5 minutes, I showed the line around the room, and we've got plenty of members of the Seahawks here, former members, Eddie McMillan, who I interviewed last week, along with Kenny McIntosh, and we might have some guests on later today too. So it's just been a blast here so far, and thank you for noticing our lovely our set.
And a little bit of Seahawks news. Adam, don't know if you saw on your drive in this morning, we did cut Cam Young is gone. So speaking of Cams, fourth rounder from a couple of years ago, just never really sniffed the field, was kind of injured, it was ineffective. He got cut. So he's a pre-draft cut. Good luck to Cam Young, but it just never really made it for us.
Yeah, good luck to Cam Young for sure. Ed rooted for him to succeed, mainly because when he was drafted, that's when we were really, as a fan base, looking at John Schneider and being like, can you do something about the middle of the defensive line? A little like we're doing with the offensive line now. But I think for sure, Brandon, what this move indicates is that we're going to take Kenneth Grant at 18.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
Me neither. I would be into it.
You think that they would tip their hand in that way by cutting a guy in the middle of the defensive line ahead of the first round to be like, oh, we're picking a guy on the D line, so why don't we cut a guy on the D line that right?
Well, they don't have Pete Carroll to give out the draft hints anymore, so maybe that's what this is, Clinton. Maybe it's a clue.
It was a really large breadcrumb that we're going to take a defensive tackle. I like Kenneth Grant. I like him quite a lot. You know, you said it very well in a couple of pods that we led up to, Adam, that you're like, look, you could kind of never go wrong taking defensive line and the guts of defensive tackle. So if we do decide that at 18, whether that's Harmon or Kenneth Grant being the two that are right there, or we wait a bit and we get your guys' favorite, CJ West, one of the favorites. There's a lot. The thing is, there's a lot of defensive tackle talent, like an exorbitant amount. So I still would rather see us go O-line and then push DT back a little bit.
Yeah, well, wouldn't we all? All right, first pick is in, Brandon.
Cam Ward, he is off the board. And Adam, you did quite a bit of work on Cam Ward. And what do you think of the Titans pick here? Obviously, he wants to go play with Tyler Lockett. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, that was the main impetus of all of this, is to get Cam Ward paired up with Tyler Lockett. But no, at the end of the day, this is a player that, when I looked over his tape, he looks like a first-round quarterback. He has the sign, he has the speed, he has the arm strength, he has the accuracy. Every so often, he has a little bit of an uncorker now and then that makes you raise your eyebrows. But when I watched everything, there was nothing that I saw that I was like, that's A++. Like, all the skills were like A+ or B+ to A-. And maybe that combination makes you an A+ prospect. I don't know. But to me, he was kind of more of a mid-first round talent type guy. In fact, if I was comparing him to that crazy draft last year with the 6 quarterbacks in the first round, I would probably put him behind JJ. So maybe the 5th or the 6th best quarterback.
I think that's about where I was trying to think of where I would slot him. And I think I even would have slotted him, though, ahead of Penix. Because of a lot of the injury concerns that were that went along with that. So yeah, I think I might have him a little bit ahead of Penix though.
Big breaking news too. People that are watching this and watching, probably a second screen too, probably saw it. I didn't get all the details, but Jaguars are now suddenly on the clock. Oh. So the 2 pick has been traded out. They announced what it was. It sounded like a good haul there. But those sneaky Jacksonville Jaguars go from 5 to 2. Don't know what they gave up. So an early curveball. Man, okay, well, it's not quarterback. They got Trevor Lawrence.
No, Travis Hunter still makes sense at number 2.
Simply going to get Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter?
Yeah, you would pick Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter.
I just want to be on record that I was right. The Jags were going to be the first big surprise in all of this. So, I'm so proud that, the button's about ready to pop off my chest on that one. But I think what's going to be interesting about seeing this trade, do we have the details of it yet? What they gave up to move from 5 to 2, like what that price was? Because there are a lot of guys saying that to move up in this draft is probably going to be slightly less expensive than maybe in previous drafts, just because of the talent pool and how it all shakes out.
Well, Stewart S is calling for Travis Hunter Biden, so that'd be something. That'd be a real shock, guys. I gotta say, if Hunter Biden got selected, that'd be like him selling a piece of his own artwork. Shocking.
All I know is that in this draft, Hunter Biden would have the best laptop skills in the game. He would.
he would have gotten this show off started on time.
That's right. Yeah. It'd been better than Clinton at it.
Come hell or high water. All right, so the Jags are on the clock. Likely going to go get Travis Hunter. You got to figure now if you're sitting there and you're in the green room, if you're Travis Hunter, look, your options were Cleveland or Jacksonville. Okay, let's just start there. Brandon, where would you rather go as a player? Cleveland, Myles Garrett, Jacksonville
100%.
Sunshine.
For the weather.
Just the weather, right?
That's it.
And no taxes.
I don't care.
Well, when you make that much money, you might care.
I mean, sorry to the people of Cleveland, but
yeah, I mean, literally that would be it. Plus, I mean, all right, the Jags, just nobody cares, right? So you go to Cleveland, the weather's cold, and people care to watch you suck. So that's even worse. So I would much rather go to Jacksonville, I think, because nobody's going to watch anyways.
Yeah,
maybe too hot in Jacksonville. That might be a good.
it is hot, but again, you'll be in London. You'll be in London soon. So
can I winter in Jacksonville and then summertime in Cleveland?
it's my plan.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's how the season works.
Well,
suppose not.
but he plays defense and offense. Maybe he could split.
All right, so Browns receive 25 fifth, a 25 second and fourth. Wow.
2026 first round pick to the Browns. That's the big compensation right there. And then everything else is kind of, I think, to balance that part out of it a little bit.
Okay, but the Jags get more back than just trading back to 5.
They get the second overall pick this year. They get a 4th rounder this year. They get a 5th rounder this year.
Okay, I was reading that backwards.
Yeah. And so, that makes some sense. Going back to Cam Ward, though, just one of the things that I wanted to point out with him that kind of, it makes sense for the Titans, is that they go from gunslinger Will Levis to a guy in Cam Ward who took care of the football. He took care of the football and at one of the best rates of the quarterbacks this year, only 5 interceptions, and then rushing yards per attempt. It's weird because you would think that Shedeur Sanders, just based on his namesake, would be like one of the most running quarterbacks in this group. Sanders ranks out about 4th or 5th. Cam Ward, number 1. Number 2 is Jalen Milroe. Riley Leonard, number 3. And then after that, you go, Jackson Dart is number 2, which that one's surprising a little bit.
He can boogie.
He can boogie, but yeah.
He was college boogie. Yeah.
But ahead of Milroe. Like, that's why I didn't even look at Jackson Dart's line, because I'm like, there's no way that he could be ahead of Milroe.
Well, that's because they're in Ole Miss. They throw the ball a lot more than they did Alabama, even with Kalen DeBoer / Grubby type offense. So, yeah, maybe some more attempts there. But it does make sense for the Titans to go with Cam Ward. I mean, they've been in quarterback purgatory for how long now? I mean, the last good quarterback for them was that one Tannehill year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a minute. And I couldn't live with Will Levis as my quarterback for one more second.
I mean, you're literally going, yes, a year and a half of Tannehill being somewhat okay, the playoff okay. And then what are we going back to? Aaron McNair?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Steve McNair losing the Super Bowl by a half a yard with Kevin Dyson to these stupid freaking Rams, if you didn't really care about that point, but they're still stupid. That's about it. What is that? That's the year 2000.
I guess the question is, too, if you're the Jaguars, are you picking Travis Hunter to play primarily at wide receiver, or are you picking him primarily to play corner?
Maybe both. And in fact, I think most of the teams are going to, or whoever drafts Travis Hunter, if it is the Jags here, you're going to have to give him the opportunity to play both until he figures out that he either doesn't want to, or it's just too much work in terms of there's not enough hours in the day to prepare as a professional. But they need corner and wide receiver.
Yes.
The Christian Kirk experiment is over in Jackson.
He wasn't that bad. He was just overpaid.
Hawk Van Dyke makes a really good point in chat. Starstruck by London. Make sure and check out his YouTube channel. Cleveland just bought Arch Manning for next year.
Potential. You
If
never
you're
know.
trading with the Jags, you're thinking that they're going to be bad next year.
They increase their chances of getting Arch.
They do increase their chances.
But
Because they're going to have probably a good pick themselves.
Well, guess who just increased his chances of staying in school?
Arch Manning.
Arch Manning.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, I'm sure his NIL deal is.
He doesn't take a dime.
He doesn't take a dime.
He gives the money. He receives it and distributes the money to his teammates.
That's amazing. It must be nice to have rich uncles. Yeah.
Not bad.
Absolutely. All right, so here we go with the Jaguars pick here.
Jaguars pick coming in.
Gotta be Travis Hunter.
Marlon Sand, cornerback first and wide receiver second.
Which is fine, because you could put a wide receiver in like limited packages and
I
then
think
just go
so.
corner.
Or just run him on third down. I feel like if you're going to do that with a player, there's no way, for one, for him to take that many snaps. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
And so to limit his snaps on the opposite side of the ball that he's playing full time, to just do it primarily on third down, I think that makes some sense to me.
If I'm a Jags fan, and thank God I'm not, but if I was, I'd be pumped. I know people are like, the Browns got the better of this. Maybe the Jags might just have gotten a generational guy here. And Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter with Lawrence. All right.
No, that's pretty sweet. I would be surprised if they played him at corner, though, primarily over top of wide receiver. Mainly just because from the folks that I've listened to, they like him better as a wide receiver like clearly the best wide receiver in this class, and a good corner, but maybe not an elite corner in the league. My concern with him playing both ways is much less about it physically. He's proven he can do that physically. That's something that he has shown. I think what's going to be difficult is there's so much prep that goes into being an NFL player mentally, where I just don't know that there's enough hours in the day to do all the prep work to be a full-time starter on offense and defense.
I do want to ask real quick. So if the folks that are watching at home, grade Travis Hunter's fit. So from 1 to 10, what do you think of the pink blazer? Brandon, 1 to 10, 10 being you got to own it. What do you think of Travis's fit?
He's owning it for sure.
But
If me, could I pull that off? Is that what you're trying to
you
ask?
pull off anything, first and
Well, I know
foremost.
that. Except for the Jaguars cap. That would be a mistake.
Yuck, yeah. Yuck. And that part probably burns.
Wait, so if we're ranking it completely, like with hat included, it's a 0.
Okay. I'm going to go with an 8.5 because
If you take off the hat,
well, of course. I mean, he didn't have the hat on when the question was asked, so I'm keeping the hat out of the equation here. But any man that can rock hot pink and make it look good, with that smile, you can pull off anything, right? Yeah. That dude, does he not have the biggest, bestest smile in the whole draft here? Yeah. I mean, it's amazing.
Charismatic guy, rocking a hot pink, very Floridian color, by the way. That color doesn't scream Cleveland. That color screams Florida. So I do wonder if he was having some, Jacksonville Vice dreams.
I bet you Liam Cohen is licking his chops here with this addition to his offense potentially. I mean, he did a fantastic job down in Tampa Bay, getting them up to speed last year in just his 1 year as the OC there, and parlaying that into a head coaching position. One of the things that I had heard coming into this draft is one of the things that the teams were having a hard time figuring out is what some of these new dudes were going to do, like Liam Cohen, first-time head coach in the new regime there.
Yeah. And, that extends to us with Kubiak, taking it back to our Seahawks. We had a conversation last night, Brandon. I forget who it was with, but we were talking with somebody. Maybe it was EJ, where he was talking about, at least our Seahawks now have a competent NFL OC. So now, to turn it back to our Seahawks, I got to imagine, we know he likes 12 and 13 personnel. Here's a bit of a shakeup. Doesn't really move the board too much just yet. But I still feel like Clint Kubiak really is going to want that next tight end, Brandon. Are you still feeling like Clint wants that? Or where do you think he's going, dude?
I don't know. But I do have the question that I want to ask you guys that Stuart brings up in chat. The amount of capital that's getting that they had to give up to just move up to take Travis Hunter. Is that worth it?
I mean, if you really view Travis Hunter as that sort of generational talent, and I think most folks do who evaluate college football and the draft, they look at him as one of those unicorn-type players. So if that's the case, then sure, I guess it's worth it. But hard telling not knowing. We're going to find out.
I mean, my quick take is I think it could be. And again, we said it earlier, right, that in a draft where there is a real compression of blue chip talent, if they're sitting there at 5 and even if it's Genty, but they're like, we're not taking a running back first, we don't care because there's other really good running backs and we're not spending a 5th on Genty. I can't be mad at a team who went up and got the guy that they think is probably the best player in the entire draft. I think that's a good move.
Yeah, so Giants pick is in. Giants, they need quarterback, offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, and wide receivers.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
That's a lot because they're not good. Now, they kind of tried to address the quarterback position here this offseason. Familiar face, Russell Wilson.
Yep.
They're in New York. Sierra must be happy. We heard how much she wanted to be in New York when Russ was here in Seattle.
For sure.
Jameis Winston, the chucker of chuckers. He's there too.
Licking them wins.
I mean, if you're Brian Dable and Joe Shane, right, the GMs, how in the world can you? I mean, they're both on the hot seat. I would think. How in the world are you pinning your hopes to this version of Russ in Jameis Winston. It seems crazy they wouldn't go quarterback here, even though I don't like the potential second pick here. But can you give up on somebody like Abdul Carter or some of those other guys?
I think the Abdul Carter pick for them is extremely safe, extremely smart, and not safe because he's a safe player. He's the best edge by far in this class. But you go into the season knowing you're probably not a playoff team. If you go look at the Giants' opponents, they are going to be lucky to win 5 games next year. They play every good freaking team. Like it's murder's row. So, like, punt next year, try to get Arch Manning, bring another Manning back to New York, and just go build on your strength, which is your defense.
Yeah, taking the best player available here, it makes a ton of sense for the Giants. Carter goes to them, and I think that building that defense makes a lot of sense for the Giants. And the way that they could have screwed this up is by picking somebody other than Carter, I feel like. Or, I mean, maybe offensive line. You can see the Giants going there, but the top defensive player on the board here, good for the Giants.
Yeah, you talk a lot about the positions that you're going to save money on in the future. Edge is definitely one of them. Pass rusher is that guy. And so getting that guy under cost control for 5 years, especially a guy who's as talented as Abdul Carter is. I mean, watching his highlights, like, it was unbelievable. This dude's an absolute game record. The speed is outrageous.
Oh, we got Mae Milloy coming by the podcast booth here. Hey, Mama, you wanna hop on? You got a microphone right there, Clinton.
Oh, here you go. Here we go.
I wanted to, because Mae Milloy, we were talking a little bit earlier before we got started. Like, you were there on draft day with your son Lawyer, and he didn't go in the first round because he was dealing with an injury. But what was that like, just as a family member on draft day, and having that experience of being there and watching this and knowing that your son's going to go to 18, but you don't even know where?
So, if y'all wanted me to be real with you, it was nerve-wracking. It was very nerve-wracking. Lawyer stayed in his room because first you got to wait for the phone call. And then once we got the phone call for the Patriots, I had never, for New England, that's what it was. And I said, God, thank you. I said, but why my son have to go all the way overseas? I thought he was really going to New England. But yeah, it was a blessing. Yeah, so I'm praying for the moms and the players that's sitting back waiting today.
Was there any part of you, I mean, especially as a parent, like, for one, I mean, thinking that he was going all the way overseas, but then even realizing, that he's staying in the country in Boston, but it being on the opposite side of the country, for you being someone who, grew up in this, or not grew up in this area, but, Lawyer grew up in this area, and then knowing that, I mean, how does that impact you? Like, do you start to pick up and go, oh, am I moving out there for the season? Or are you just thinking about making travel plans there for all this?
Well, we had already decided that we was going to keep Washington as our home base. And then, like I said, everywhere that he went, I always went and checked it out to see where my baby going. Because after New England, it was Buffalo Bills. And so I never even knew about Buffalo or where it was, but then I saw Niagara Falls. It wasn't far from Niagara Falls, so I'm like, okay, we could do this. So yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, I was just curious, Mae Milloy, when you guys were going through the draft process, did any of the teams reach out to you personally to talk to you about Lawyer at all? Or did New England get in touch with you guys or Lawyer much? Did you have an inkling that's where he would go?
No, I had no idea that he would go to New England. But before the actual draft day, it was quite a few teams came over because he couldn't do the combines. So they all came to the University of Washington for him to work out. And so at that time, we had, I think it was Cincinnati. But they was like, oh, I shouldn't say that. But they was, they was kind of
It's okay, we keep it 100 here.
They was kind of getting in trouble that year. And that was one of the ones that was like, I think that the coach or whoever it was that came out to the tryout, he was trying to hit on me as well as, so I can kind of persuade my son to go to that team. And I immediately was praying. I said, Lord, don't let it be that team.
That's wild.
You've got great instincts. Yeah.
I wanted him to go to the Seahawks, but it ended up happening.
When that finally happened, though,
Yeah,
what was
that
that
was a
moment
dream.
like for you?
That was a dream come true. And then I started calling him Boomerang Milloy. Yeah, it was like a boomerang where God brought him all the way back home.
That's right. You can't get rid of him, right?
That's
Just
right.
Check him out there.
That's right. And that made his day too. He was comfortable and happy that he got a chance to play for a home team.
Yeah, well, we enjoyed having them in Seattle for sure.
All right.
Really, thank you for dropping by. And
Thank you.
as Mama Milloy gets up, you got to take a look. It has Patriots, Seahawks. You got UW on there.
Yep. Right up here on the shoulder.
You got all the teams represented. Yeah, Bills on the back.
Yeah.
Amazing jersey.
It's awesome.
That's a draft day jersey.
Heck yeah, one of a kind. Thank you very much.
Mama Milloy stopping by. See, one of the handy things of being here. Just anybody come on by and Adam, it looks like we've got another pick in.
We got another pick in, and you're going to talk about it for 30 seconds because I'm all tangled up.
Oh boy. Well, I don't have the actual pick yet, so. But yes, we got Charlie Malmberg in the chat saying love the stories. We got Eddie McMillan swinging by. We've got Sharon Smith-Mitchell coming in, and yes, so you got your certificate of achievement here, Sharon, and so tell us about what this award that you earned.
Apparently, all across the world is actually booster clubs.
Yeah.
Each state has their own booster club. In Washington State, I think we have 8. South Sound was one of the first original booster clubs that started. For people that don't know what a booster club is, in 1976, when the induction of the Seahawkers, the players, when they moved to Washington State, needed somebody to help them find places to live, find schooling for the family, doctors, different things like that. So that's when the very first group of people stepped in and started doing things for the families.
Yeah.
And it just grew. So then you had all of these displaced Seahawkers who moved to different states and different countries. So they started up different clubs. So they decided they wanted to do more than just being a booster club. They wanted you to be involved in other things. So they started doing community work, starting to working with the legends, with the veterans. So each one of the chapters does a lot of different things for different groups of different people. With South Sound, we do a lot of Come Walk With Me. The breast cancer one is one of our main ones. We have Mother to Many outreach program. We have Angel One Foundation. We have the VFW. We have the Soldiers Home Cemetery in Porting. We have Second Chance Dogs. We have Sunny Skies Animals. We work with, obviously, with Eddie and Shelley with the CEC marketing, and work with a lot of the players, former players. We work with Randall Morris Foundation. We help out at his Copa Rally. We help out at golf tournaments.
So Eddie was saying that you did some work, though, with Earl Thomas here.
Yes.
And he's getting an award tonight.
Yeah, Eddie's put a lot on my shoulders to say that I'm going to try and get him in the Hall of Fame. That's a lot. I mean, hey, I'm going to reach out to absolutely to all of our chapters and see if we can get something going. I think he deserves it.
Absolutely.
So I mean, that would be awesome if I could do that. But that's a lot putting on somebody's shoulders to do something like that. So
I believe in you. I think it's going to happen.
I think so too.
Yeah, for sure. Because just listening to all the different things that you've been involved with here as a 12 and doing all that community outreach and everything, it's just incredible work. And clearly you deserve the award.
This is quite an honor.
Yeah,
For the very first. So now somebody else next year.
Yeah. Are you doing anything in like 2028? Because we're going to need a new president by then. And it sounds like you might be one of the most qualified people in the world. You'd have my vote.
I'll be too old then.
I don't know that matters anymore. Yeah, I don't know that anybody cares. So you're a big Seahawks fan, obviously. When did you become a fan of the Seahawks?
Believe it or not till 82, 83. Hey, I thought they were the underdogs.
Yeah.
And it was like, I need to support these guys. So I started following them. I'm originally born in Canada.
Oh, all right.
So
So president's
President might be out.
president's out. Yeah, that's true. Decided that I wanted to do different things for the Seahawks. So we started holding different parties, Super Bowl parties at our house, bringing more people in. Started following the Seahawks and became huge fans.
Yeah.
We moved to South Carolina, and down there, everybody kept saying, you're so involved. You want to always be doing charity work. You want to get here and do this and do that. And you're out there doing cheering. And, I show up in my Mima Hawk and blue stuff and all of that. And so they decided to get my name registered with the NFL. So I now have that registered. Mima Hawk is
Very nice.
is what they call me in South Carolina. We moved back here to Washington State in 19 and decided we needed to do something more. Started searching different booster clubs here because we were always parts of booster clubs, and picked South Sound as one of the first and one of the oldest booster clubs, and chose that one as our main booster club. We also we're Tornado Alley. We've been Music City. We've been part of Tampa Bay. We've joined multiple booster clubs across the country, and Emerald Isle, Germany. So we don't always want to just do Washington State. We want to do other things and get other 12s involved. So yeah.
Well, we really want to thank you for coming in, and congratulations on your award. And I just want to say, too, as you stand up, I want everybody to be impressed by the bedazzled Seahawks jersey. That's incredible.
I can't take the credit for this. My good friend Sylvia Ward does all of the bling jerseys. So if anybody is ever interested, just reach out and ask me. She'll do it for you.
Get in touch with Sylvia.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to need one. I think it'd bring out the color in my
I
eyes.
think so, too.
Yeah.
Hey, get your hat blinged out.
I like it. I like where your head's at. Sharon, fantastic work.
Thank you so
Congratulations on your award, and thank you for spending a couple minutes with us.
Thank you.
And looking forward to the draft night. Do you have a pick at 18? Who do you want? Or just anybody they bring in? You're going to be.
Yeah. He's going to be good no matter what.
I like it.
Hey, we got Earl Thomas, right?
Yeah.
And look how he worked out for us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we definitely want another guy like Earl.
Absolutely.
We need that Legion in the boom back.
There you go. Thanks, Sharon.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, we got picks that came in. Let's see. Will Campbell to the Patriots, Adam.
Okay.
That ended up being a pretty chalky pick, and I think the Browns are on the clock, and even the pick is in, even though I don't think that we see it up yet on the TV.
Okay. Well, we'll be shortly, I imagine. But Will Campbell to the Patriots, that makes a lot of sense. Help Drake May out. That's your rookie quarterback that you've invested heavily in with the high first-round draft pick last year. He's the one that had the tenth of an inch too short of arms that could never succeed?
Yeah, he had 32 and a quarter and 3/4 inch arms, whereas if you have 33, then you're okay to play tackle.
Right.
But if you're under that, then you definitely have to be a guard.
Okay. On the tape, did it look like his arms were 3/4 of an inch too short?
No?
Okay. Well, then it'll probably be okay.
He was able to play just fine. So,
here comes the Browns pick.
Hey, the Michigan defensive tackle, the guy opposite of Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham to the Cleveland. Now, I did kind of wonder that so now the trade for the Browns makes a little bit of sense too, because now they're adding to the interior of the defensive line rather than getting an outside guy with Abdul Carter. They get the top interior defender here from Michigan.
Yeah, you bet. Very consistent player, a guy that flashed a lot on the film. When I was doing my quarterback studies, Mason Graham was somebody that popped up quite a bit in quite a few different games that I had watched. All of a sudden, he was just being disruptive in the backfield, and a guy that's going to add a lot of value. And really, if you think about it, for the Browns, with them having just paid Myles Garrett as what was it, $5.5 trillion? Was it something like that? It was, all the trillions.
Roughly a trillion.
Yeah, it was a crap ton to get him to.
Maybe we need to get Myles Garrett to be the president to help. Then he can support the budget.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, he could just make up the budget deficit right there. But yeah, they had to pay him that money so he would quit demanding a trade. But if you're going to try to maximize that value, somebody like Mason Graham makes a lot of sense. If you can push the pocket from the middle and collapse it from the middle, that just moves the quarterback right into Myles Garrett's lane, and it's good night, Irene.
And he's so good at that, too. I mean, you watch the Michigan film, and the dude is a beast up the middle. And he's one of the guys that I feel like with that Michigan defense, it's what makes them so effective. I mean, they have guys on defense that we're going to see throughout the first round here, whether or not it's the corner or whether or not it's Kenneth Grant. But having that impact guy in the middle of the defense, it really does. It helps all those other positions.
It's where the game starts and stops. Right there in the middle, in the trenches. It's what I've been saying on the show forever. It's what you've been saying on the show forever. And the Browns making a surprisingly smart decision here and picking up a little extra draft capital along the way. I like the move. It was actually a move that I had heard this morning listening to, I think it was the Athletics football show. And they were talking about a rumor of Pete Carroll trying to move up to number 2 and get Travis Hunter. It was not. They are now on the clock, the Las Vegas Raiders. We get to see Pete Carroll's first pick as head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, I did hear a rumor as I was listening to the radio this morning that the Seahawks were, there was a rumor that Seattle could trade, and if you haven't heard this, I want to get your reaction to it, because it would be our first round pick, it would be Kenneth Walker, and it would be a 3rd or a 4th rounder for the Seahawks to move up from 18 to 6.
3rd and a 4th rounder.
Third
or fourth. And Ken Walker?
Ken Walker and our first round pick at 18.
To move up to 4?
To move up to 6.
To move up to 6.
With the Raiders.
What I missed?
No, thank you.
No?
Well, I guess, the only way that would make sense is if then you're going to pick Genty.
Yeah. But that's the thing, though. If you're the Raiders, and why would you move back, pass up on Genty to get K9 and just a later round pick? I mean, you'd be drafting later in the first, but I don't see that making sense necessarily for the Raiders as much.
No, not really, because you're going to have to pay Ken Walker almost right away, because he's getting towards the end of his rookie deal here. And, if you have the opportunity to take Genty at this point, if you're really looking for running back help, get the cheaper guy, under cost control, less injury history as well. He's been pretty durable in college, Genty.
Yeah. That's okay. There we are. I'm back. That was me. I walked away. It's okay. That's me. That's my fault. This will be cool. I think the pick is in, so we'll see what it is, but pretty pumped for the Raiders. I just want to see them get back to some level of NFL respectability. And I think that's like Pete's A1 job is get them to not be a laughingstock, get them back to they could contend for the playoffs, be a successful, fun team. And this is a huge pick right here. So were you guys thinking?
The pick is in. It is not a trade. The Raiders are sticking and picking here. And I think that we're probably going to see Ashton Genty off the board here for the Raiders. There it is.
You nailed it.
Oh, yeah. Pete Carroll licking his chops right now, boys and girls. He loves running the football, as we all know, and he's got his bell cow, and I've got a fresh beer.
Cheers.
Yeah, Marlon saying if it's K9 versus Genty, I would go Genty. And that's why that trade, while it was intriguing, it didn't make a lot of sense to me, because here you have the top running back off the board, and in terms of talent, we were talking about K9 in the top 10. And we're talking about Genty here. Now you have him for 4 years. I just don't know for the Raiders. Yes, having a piece like Genty is nice, but we saw Saquon Barkley with the Giants for so many years. They didn't have the offensive line to support him. Will the Raiders have an offensive line that will allow Genty to do these things that we saw him do in college?
There've been a couple things. I think it's a better offensive line right now than what the Giants trotted out there for all those years with Barkley. Also, you got the commitment from the coach. You got a fast track. You're playing indoors, and you got the QB that could just go through your progress and your progressions and stay in rhythm. And while Genty didn't catch a lot of balls this year, 2024, he caught a lot of passes in 2023. So if anybody has the idea that he can't do that, that's just false. He's pretty damn good out of the backfield. And, it's going to be, again, just like the Jaguars trading up and getting more exciting, the Raiders just got a lot more exciting.
It makes it a lot more exciting. And you think about like Gino's ability to make guys miss. If Genty obviously has that ability to make guys miss. So, and maybe they're feeling offensive line a little bit later too. And you have this opportunity to take a really talented running back and have that change the team. Because we saw it in Detroit too. Gosh, when but they got Jahmyr Gibbs. Like that was a big move for them. And now to compete in the division, it's kind of turning the Raiders into a little bit of a fun team.
Oh, absolutely. And they had to do something, Clinton, because that division is murderer's row.
Yeah.
And we talk about the idea of drafting the running back now and not being ready in terms of the offensive line in front of him. Well, there's opportunities still in this draft to go and get offensive linemen in the second and third round. It's something that a lot of the pundits have said throughout this process is those guys can be had there. So that could be the thought process is get this blue chipper now because there's not a ton of them in this draft, and then address offensive line a little bit later. Brandon, your point.
Did you see on the screen they had the NFL comparison as Emmitt Smith? And did you see Emmitt breaking tackles up on screen? I wanted to point that out because you like to point out that maybe Emmitt was not a tackle breaking guy.
Yeah. No, they found the five broken tackles he had to have through his entire career. Because like on the screen right now, he just went between guard and tackle there, and it was wide freaking open. You could have drive 3 Volkswagens through there at the same time. In my opinion, one of the most overrated backs in the world. Ashton Genty is nothing like Emmitt Smith to me. He is much more elusive, much more powerful in terms of maybe just the body size and type, maybe like Emmitt Smith, but I don't see him like Emmitt Smith as a runner. I think he's more dynamic.
I actually don't know enough about Genty because he was one of the dudes that I didn't watch all that much highlights and stuff.
Yeah, you didn't want to fall in love. You were like that. I've already got my top 10 crush.
Brandon, we walked around Polsbo this morning, and Brandon understands I fall in love easy. He understands this.
Well, Clinton fell in love with the boat that we stayed on last night.
Bodie McBoat.
He fell in love with the person who got him coffee this morning. So it's
I fall in love easy.
Clinton and I are now engaged.
It's true.
Yeah, I can't wait. Can I officiate?
Yeah,
sure. Why not?
Okay, all right.
The part with the Raiders too, there was a lot of talk about that they do need wide receiver because it's Jacoby Myers and then literally just a bunch of dudes. But again, same idea. Get the blue chip. There he is. You got him. And there's a lot of wide receiver depth in the second and third round to go support Pete Carroll, go support Gino, and get more dynamic on a fast track in Las Vegas. I could almost guarantee you by the time that we close out tomorrow, they're going to have one of those fast, shifty wide receivers to pair with Jacoby Myers and pretty quickly transforming that team.
So next up on the clock, we have the New York Jets. Then we've got the Carolina Panthers. Actually, the Jets, their pick is in. The Panthers now on the clock. So who are we thinking? Who are we thinking for the Jets?
My heart's going to break.
This is where Tyler Warren goes?
I think so.
Why do the Jets have to ruin Tyler Warren? I know. Because that's my only concern is I see that the pick is in, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, oh no, whose life just got ruined?
Wait, so I did step away for a second when Mae Milloy stepped in. Did Will Campbell go?
Will Campbell went to the
Patriots. Okay, that's actually great. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
I don't mean thank you because it's good for the Seahawks. I think it's a good play. It's just smart. Whether you guys talked about it or not, protect Drake May at all freaking costs. Get the dude who's really good at left tackle and that's it. Against the best competition. So, okay, he's off the board.
I do want to say, just so you have some hope to cling to, is that once Warren then is a bust for the Jets in 4 years, and he comes to Seattle and he's awesome.
I could be patient. I could be patient, yeah.
Okay,
You may get your true love after all.
Yeah, he falls in love easily, but for a long time. Yeah, that's what happens there.
That's amazing.
Well, so Jets, looks like their biggest needs are offensive line, wide receiver, tight end, safety, and defensive line. I know they have some talent on the defensive line, but everybody needs defensive line. Could they go with somebody like Banks here and try to go for a tackle? Or?
Yeah, Membu is very, very high up there.
Yep.
So Armand Membu is right there. Could be Banks. Armand Membu became the darling. He blew out the room, right? He had the best underwear Olympics. He's got really good tape, extremely good tape. He's very fast, very explosive, gets out of his stance quickly. He gets to that second level. He's really, really solid on the line. And there's a lot of rumors that the Jets do like Armand Membu, so we'll see. However, I think the allure of Tyler Warren being that one of one is really, again, the blue chip of blue chips that's left on the board. I think it's Tyler Warren.
I think defensive line probably makes it, like if I were actually the general manager of the Jets and I were, I'd probably be fired about this time next year. But I think
Would you have signed Justin Fields? That would be my first question.
What are you
no,
saying,
I
like
probably-
edge? You think edge? Because
No,
there's
I
not that
think-
many dudes.
Well,
I mean, there's
Walter-
guys, but it's like you're quote unquote reaching for, let's say, Harmon or Walter Nolan or Kenneth Grant.
Walter Nolan, I could maybe make some sense. I like Jalen Walker out of Georgia, and maybe this is too early, but I think that that's probably where I'd go.
So Brett and EJ were on about him, about Jalen Walker a lot. Their opinion in general is that that's too high for him.
Yeah.
They don't think he's like that explosive off the edge, but Jets pick is coming.
Will Clinton's heart be broken by the
Oh, the dream is alive.
Yeah.
The dream is alive.
Don't dream it's over, boys. Don't dream it's over.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I think this is a smart pick for the Jets. I think they made a smart pick. Anytime that you can upgrade at the tackle position, especially with a quarterback that tends to hold the ball a little bit, I think this is going to help them out quite a bit.
So are we saying the Jets made a good draft pick? The Browns made a good trade in the draft. What's happening? What's happening, guys? This is, dogs and cats living together.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You guys are getting married. There's all sorts of weird stuff
We
going
were on
on
a
here.
very romantic boat. A very romantic boat.
Yeah.
There was even a bottle of wine for us on the boat.
That's right. I started to get a little concerned when you guys told me that was the way it was going to be, because both your wives are going to be very upset with this news.
They'd understand.
Yeah.
They might be finding out live if they're watching.
Yeah.
My wife's not watching.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love you if you are. You know.
Yeah. Brittany watched for maybe like 5 minutes, and then
Yeah, well,
that's
she
all.
wanted to make sure that the set
That's
showed
right.
up well on camera.
That's right. That was it. It was all selfish. All right, Carolina Panthers on the clock.
Actually, the Saints are on the clock. The Carolina
Saints?
Panthers pick is in, but Carolina up now.
So
Where do we think the Panthers go?
the
before
big
this
rumor has been Jalen Walker. So like that's been the thing where like Walker to the Panthers, just keep building that defense.
Yeah.
That's been the hot rumor for about the last 5 to 10 days. We shall see. But there was also
You just told me I was crazy for it was way too early for him to go to the Jets.
That's what Brett.
But
needs.
that one pick with Tyler Warren on the board, everything's too early, first and foremost. But also, Mason Taylor was rumored to be falling back, and that didn't happen either, right? He got snagged as well, correct? So, I don't know. If you're the Panthers,
Oh
What-
no, Mason Graham.
Mason Graham.
Mason Graham, sorry. Yeah.
If I'm the Panthers, what do I do? I just renounce my franchise and shutter up the shop. Like, it's been that bad, and it's going to continue to be that bad as long as David Tepper is the owner there. I know Bryce Young had a little bit of a resurgence
He did.
with Canales there in the last, 4 games or so.
Almost half a year. It was like more like leading to
Was it?
yes, more
Was
like
it?
a little more 6 to
Was
7.
it?
I could see the Panthers taking Tyler Warren just because it's kind of like they should go in a different way, but they'll want to. Or could they go wide receiver?
I was going to say wide receiver. Who's the best wide receiver on the board for
Well-
you, Clinton? Because they're all on the board except for Hunter, obviously.
Ted McMillan.
I know Bloomy wants me to say Tet. Shout out Bloomy. We love you.
Egbuka?
What's that?
Egbuka? Is that how you say his name?
Buka from Ohio State.
You want to take it?
He's not my number one.
Okay.
My number one is Jalen Noel, but you're not going to take Jalen Noel,
Yeah.
Noel, from Iowa State. He's my number one wide receiver, period. He, to me, I keep describing him as if Golden Tate and Angry Doug somehow had a love child. It's like, the thing with Jalen Noel is, people are like, he's a slot. It's like, well, like you just did to me. Like, is he? yes, he played inside, but he plays outside. And when people are like, you have to have an X, you have to have a 6'4" X. Do you? The 2013 Seahawks did not have a 6'4" X. They had Golden Tate, and they had Angry Doug, and they had, Jermaine Kearse, and that worked out just fine. So personally, I like Jalen Milroe the best. I think he's got the best mix of the quickness and then what I think translates immediately to the NFL, like get open in short area, which in college, you have all that field. You have so much field. The people just keep underestimating how much that influences the game. Just look at Grubb.
Yeah.
Look at Grubb. And you called it out before anybody did. Both of you guys did.
You bet. So do you think Golden would be a reach here, the wide receiver from Texas?
So I think Matthew Golden's he's a good wide receiver. I just personally, he goes out and runs a 4.29, right? And people are like,
That's
okay,
fast.
Oh no, I can't run that. I can't run. Leave it.
I can't run half. I can't run double that.
I can't run. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But and again, I'm studying it as much as I possibly can. I don't see 4.3 Joey Galloway speed on film.
No.
With Golden.
That's the thing that confuses me too, is that he doesn't play to that level of speed.
Not that speed.
But part of that could have to do with the quarterback, right? Because so many times in college, you see guys that just can't throw dudes.
It's not like Quinn Ewers is a disaster.
Yeah.
He's going to get drafted in the NFL draft, and he's not horrible by any means. But, and again, go look at Jalen Milroe and what he was dealing with at quarterback. And I think Quinn Ewers is a much better quarterback than what Iowa State was putting out there. So
other needs for the Panthers, potentially edge, safety, corner, and D-line. Of the safeties and corners, are any of those guys, fellas, that you would think about as top 10 type draft picks?
Safety, no. I could see. I don't think that Will Johnson is necessarily being considered this early. But if he went, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me. Barron, the corner out of Texas, I think he's probably thought of as the best of the corners. And so I could see Barron. Is it that much of a need? They still have Horn on one side.
They just
paid him too, yeah.
Big money. But you need 3 cornerbacks nowadays, at least 3. A team could absolutely fall in love with Will Johnson based on 2023. If he left after 2023, he's a top 5 pick. He gets injured, he comes back, and Michigan's not really in it, so he kind of half-assed. It's the wrong way to say it, but he clearly was okay with not, just kind of saving it to get drafted. But if you look at 2023, Will Johnson would have been the first corner off the board, so it would not shock me. I think it's a good call.
So Mel Kiper's got Shedeur Sanders as one of the best available. Is this where the Carolina Panthers go out and get another weak-armed, not very mobile, but slightly larger quarterback?
No, there's no chance. Bryce Young is better than Shedeur Sanders.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Don't you think?
No. They're about the same to me, to be
I
honest.
think they're both pretty good.
Sure.
I think they're both good.
How? Why? What in the world would make you say that?
Oh, there it goes 10. Wide receiver.
Wow.
All right.
Hawk Van Dyke, the dream has died.
Oh, Bloomy.
He wanted Tet to fall to the Seahawks.
Hey now. Bloomy's dream is over, boys. That's it.
That's it. It's over, and that just pushes Grey Zabel one pick closer to the Seahawks to also kill poor Bloomy's heart.
Before this started, we're like, anyone that's not a defensive tackle, that's not an offensive lineman, any other picks is a benefit to Seattle. Dudes just keep getting pushed down to us. This is good for Seattle.
Hey, what do you say? I'd be down with the Seahawks trading up to 9.
4. Pray tell. Go ahead. Go on.
You got your answer right there just by asking.
Yeah. I know who I'd want. The Saints, they need a quarterback. With Carr maybe out for the year. If they don't think, I actually think that Rattler, if I'm the Saints,
I think you would just roll with Rattler for
that's what
another year.
I think
Over Sanders? Hell yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, who are you going to take?
and just go take somebody else.
I mean,
and just
unless
roll
they
it.
go Milroe, but
They should pick either Milroe or Dylan Gabriel. That's who they should go after. Dylan Gabriel would work in that system down there.
yeah. I just don't see the Saints picking either of those guys that early.
No, definitely not. And I will say with Tech coming off the board, I'm kind of hoping Golden gets picked here too before 18, just so that it takes the temptation away from John Schneider to go wide receiver with pick 18. Because while I wouldn't have a full-on meltdown and a fit, it would frustrate me a great deal. But, you still have the picks coming up over the next day that you could have still addressed the offensive line at that point. But I'm not all that interested in trading up to 9 or trading up really at all. I'd rather keep all that draft capital in the meat and potatoes part of the draft and draft potential starters. We're more than 1 to 2 starters away from being a team that can really contend.
No, it's just whether or not you feel like those guys that you're interested in are going to be there past pick number 15. And so you'd be looking for somewhere in that range that you could trade up into, and the Saints have their pick in, so it's not going to be a trade. But that's what I'm looking at, though, is that, hey, there's Chris. We
How you
get
doing, buddy?
Weehawks swinging by. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right. So, yeah, it's mostly the idea of being concerned that guy that you want isn't there in the top 15, and then everybody else is kind of a round 2 type prospect outside the top 15. It seems to be the conventional wisdom of this year's draft.
Yeah, it seemed as if it was somewhere between 12 and 15 on down. All the guys have kind of a consensus, similar grade. And so we'll see if the Saints do want to pass up on one of the last few blue chip players. They had a lot of success with tight end in the past, Clinton, with Jimmy Graham. Maybe that's the way they go here, is they go and get their tight end, because I know a lot of guys had on their big boards both why am I drawing the on Warren and Loveland being like 6'7", 5'6".
It just kind of depends on what
your
the kind of guy that you want in a tight end.
Right.
Well,
And
But up in the upper end is where
right.
yeah, to me there's a big shelf that those two guys are the cream of the crop for a reason. And then there's folks who really love Elijah Arroyo, and there's people that really like him. They're like, oh, he's so fast. He has breakaway speed. And yeah, sure, when there's blown coverage in college football to the field, yes, as a tight end, he could run away from DBs, which is rare. You don't see tight ends do that. But I don't see Elijah Arroyo with the ability to get open suddenly. But you watch Colston Loveland, that's all he does. He gets open so quickly. They're like, he doesn't have a lot of yak. Well, because he just did a little 3-yard dig, he's wide open and he fell forward for 7 yards, first down. But he was open in short territory. I don't see that with Arroyo. I like Mason Taylor, but I don't see that with Mason Taylor. I just see it with those two tight ends. So look, the more and more that these two dudes fall closer to us, I'm getting a little aroused, boys.
Are you now? Okay. Well, watch out, boys and girls. But I would be pretty happy if either Loveland or Warren ended up with the Seahawks here at 18, or even if they ended up trading up for him, because it does help you on the line of scrimmage with them both being able to play in line. I know Loveland's not thought of as a blocker, but he's not a dumpster fire at it. Like, he can do it.
Yeah.
And that big frame, I just think of him in the red zone, an area that we always want to be better in. And not the high red zone or the low red zone, just the red zone.
All of it. All the red.
All the red zone. I think Loveland could
zones.
be a big benefit there.
Yeah. So you guys have both talked about the two tight ends that you would want. We've got Charlie Malmberg saying we're 10 picks away, who are 5 players left that you would be happy with at 18. So we've got 2 out of the way. Players that we'd be happy with at 18 as the pick comes in. I'll just round out these 3 by saying Grey Zabel would be somebody who is available at 18 that I would be okay with taking. And Kelvin Banks Jr., the tackle from Texas, now off the board to the Saints. They go offensive line.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense, because I'm pretty sure they decided to not pick up the 5th-year option for Trevor Penning, their former first-round pick. So this is a great way to replace that. Yeah, Zabel would be one of them. I would say Donovan Jackson would be one of them to me. I know a lot of people think of him more as a second-rounder than our first-rounder, but I like his versatility. I like what you see on tape. And I would be I'd be really excited if it were Booker as well. I know a lot of folks talk about the idea that he's not a fit schematically or that the measurables maybe weren't that great. If there's any position I don't give two catfish about in terms of measurables, it's guard.
Yeah.
Like, we're not asking them to be the most freakiest athletes. We're asking them to go out and be road graders, and Booker did that on tape. So those would be guys that I would be pretty stoked about.
Yeah, and Booker was a guy, too, if we're talking about people, like, you know, we all have our shortcut people that we go to, and like with quarterback, everybody looks to Adam for his quarterback rankings to decide who are the best quarterbacks. I go to Brandon Thorne for offensive line rankings, and after he got past some of the top guys, well, even the top guard available, he had Tyler Booker as his top guard. I know that there's that question about his athleticism, and with us running a wide zone scheme now with Clint Kubiak, like, can that work? He has done it. He's run that scheme at Alabama, or at least, you know, run those types of plays. So is he the best at it? Probably not. The thing too, talking about some of his weaknesses, it also sounded like short yardage was kind of one of his weaknesses at Alabama. That concerns me a little bit.
That sounds weird though. Like that should be his strength.
For his size, right?
Yeah.
And so that part was confusing to me. And so while Grey Zabel makes a lot of sense too in terms of athleticism, the talent that he played against, that part's a question. Like, you're going to have questions with anybody that is available at guard. Yeah. If those questions are there with Booker, they're there behind with everybody behind him.
Yeah.
And I think that you just have to pick the guy that you feel is the best fit for the team. And if based on the thing that we don't have, our medicals, interviews, and but we do have Cam Miller saying that Grey Zabel was a super awesome teammate.
Yes, he did. And again, I would be pretty excited about that just because, you know, from what the folks say, like, he would be a nice fit in terms of the scheme. And again, I am not quite as concerned about the small school stuff as maybe others, Dave Bloomquist, but at the end of the day, just do something there. That would be great. I would love to see us actually try to address this thing for a change.
So I think we were asked to give 5. I think we got to 4.
We got 4.
Okay.
You want to take number 5?
Yeah, I'll take number 5. And it's a dude that nobody's mocking to Seattle. And maybe there's some character issues and people like that would just take him off the board for Seattle. But Mike Green, talk about smaller school guys.
Yeah.
But to me, if you want the most ferocious edge, and if you look at the Seahawks and say, okay, we got to decide to pay Mafe, then you got Hall coming up on year 3. What are you doing with Chenna? Chenna just took a pay cut, but is he going to be healthy? And Mike Green did nothing but cause absolute havoc. And he did it with Marshall, but he still did it against good competition, and no one's talking about it with Seattle. So it's a bit of a wild card, but if we were to take him, I would at least have the fever pitch. I'd be excited about that pick, though I think it's probably a bit unorthodox.
Yeah, I'm less excited. Like, with the North Dakota offensive line, like that, the level of competition there, that part, I feel like I can get behind it just based off of, I know it's just Senior Bowl performances, but it was really good, what we saw with Grey Zabel.
Yeah.
I don't know if with Mike Green, I don't think you can make that compare. You don't have because he wasn't a senior. He didn't go to the Senior Bowl. You don't have that level of comparison to look at. So that would be why I'd be more excited about Jalen Walker.
Yeah, I'd be way more excited about either of the Georgia guys at that point. Which of the two Georgia guys, Walker and the other one? Michael. Like, which one is the traitsy one that doesn't have much production, and which one is kind of the opposite of that?
It's a good question.
Okay,
I just know from my discussion with Kenny McIntosh that Walker was his dude.
Well, Jalen Walker is also like, he's not traitsy in terms of his size. He's 6'1". He's not a big dude. He's not playing interior. He's supposed to be an edge at 6'1". I don't know.
He lost true legend.
I'll tell you right now, EJ does not want Jalen Walker.
No?
Does not.
Okay. We got Bloomy in the chat saying, tell me one small school edge who ever did anything in the NFL. That would require a very, some depth and analysis that I don't think we have on the fly.
Play?
Oh?
JPP? Where did he play?
Where did he play?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
You're just gonna bring up that name.
But he's got a name that sounds small schoolish, right?
North Central Pyrotechnics, isn't that where he?
I'll look it up.
Yeah. All right, Bears.
Alabama.
All right, the Bears, the team, everybody's darling from last year, the team that was going to the Super Bowl with Caleb Williams, remake their offensive line in the way that I wish we would have, and now have a top 10 pick. Pick is in as well.
That's a really good poll, Clinton. The team that Jason Pierre-Paul played for, the South Florida Bulls.
Thank you. Suck eye, Bloomy.
He named one.
You named one.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That was impressive. Chicago Bears, what do you think that they do here?
Tell you what I hope they don't do.
This is where the dream dies.
Yeah. Yeah, I know
They
that
need offensive line.
EJ does not want Walker. They don't.
No.
They went out and spent
Like,
bucks
yes,
on that.
they
they don't really need offensive
Maybe they don't need offensive line. They did go crazy.
Yeah, no, they didn't go crazy. They saw a problem, a massive problem on their team.
Oh, that's
Oh, my backup crutch gone.
They go Colson Loveland. They take a tight end, but not the tight end Clinton wanted.
I coveted him too.
Does this count as a surprise that Loveland went ahead of?
Does to me.
I think
Yeah.
so. I
Of
think
Warren?
it started picking up steam that he might be the one for some boards. So it's not like we're completely unheard of, but look, like I said, there's even with Tyler Warren, there was one tight end to me that could get open with just by himself in really tight spaces. That was Loveland. As much as I love Warren, it was different reasons why I love Warren.
Yeah.
So Cole Kmet and Loveland out on the field at the same time.
If you think of needs, tight end is not probably the place that I would necessarily go. It is a little surprising that the Bears didn't go defense. I think that
Yeah, I mean, although this is NFL.com, this is
Yeah.
what they had the Bears' biggest needs are.
Cole
was-
Kmet's not like an
They just
amazing-
didn't. He's really good. They just didn't use him last year because they had a terrible offensive coordinator. So they had defensive line, running back, safety, or tight end as needs, as well as O-line, which again I don't quite understand with as much as they went after their offensive line and free agency.
That's so a bit of a shock but a really good player. Got to be kind of cool for a Michigan kid. Doesn't got to go too far. Hitting a franchise that is storied. They've lost their way, but seemingly they're on their way back from kind of purgatory.
We'll see. It all depends if Caleb Williams can learn to play on time and in the pocket. And I'm not 100% sure that we can happen.
Stupid San Francisco 49ers are on the clock now. The pick is in.
All right, who do we want to take?
Kicker. I want him to
Shador.
take a kicker. Yeah, please take Shador.
Yeah, that's good. Take Shador.
Yeah, no, that would be fantastic. But does it not warm your guys' hearts, fellas, to see the San Francisco 49ers have such a terrible year last year that they are picking at 11? Like last in the division. Like that warms my heart a little bit.
It does.
So speaking of warming the hearts a little bit, I just hopped on Twitter to congratulate EJ, football EJ from Bootleg, about the Colson Loveland pick. And then what pops up? Dan Vienne's girlfriend, they got engaged. She said yes, our boy from Seahawks Forever.
Heck yeah, man.
Dan and his lovely new fiance, she said yes, they'll be getting married. So warming the cockles, boys.
Hey, big congratulations to Dan. I'm wondering, can you guys book a venue together? Like, can you guys do like
we'll
back-to-back
do it.
weddings?
Clinton and I together, and Dan.
Yeah, and Dan and his.
We can get married on the boat.
Absolutely. Oh, they look so happy in the photos.
They do.
That's fantastic.
Are you going to be the officiant? What was that? The officiant?
Officiant,
Yeah, the officiant.
Yeah. I've done a few actually. Believe it or not. Yeah.
I can see that.
I don't know why anybody would trust me with that kind of situation, but they have.
I've done 2.
Oh, so we're tied.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. All right.
I've done.
Well, then you can't be ours because I don't want you to beat. I don't want you in the lead.
That's fair.
Well, how about this? He does ours, you do Dan's.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Oh, and then we're back in on a tie. Hey,
that's-
Dan gets the better.
That's why we're getting.
That's why I love you.
All right. So,
So who do we not love to the 49ers? Because defense probably makes a lot of sense with
Some people were talking Nolan to the Niners here since they lost so many dudes in the trenches.
Walter Nolan is probably the chalk pick here, right?
I think he'd be very solid, and that would make me a little upset. If they took Jahdae Barron, I wouldn't shed a tear. I think he's a good corner, but I also think the 49ers need to give like Nick Bosa some friggin' help. And I don't think a good cover corner is going to necessarily make the Niners suddenly like world beaters again. But if you give Bosa some relief or free Bosa up, that could be multiple win differential.
A corner would make sense for him though too.
But they lost Ward.
Yeah.
And, one of the ways you help a pass rush is by having good corners, right? If your corners can hold up for that extra beat, 2 beats, that gives the pass rushers the ability to then get to the quarterback there. So, I don't know that it would break my heart if Nolan went to the 49ers. He feels a little bit like Mdichke. I can never say that dude's name. Kind of the guy who's a beast and all that stuff, but like some character issues.
Kim Diche.
Kim Diche, there it is.
Yeah, he never worked out with
Arizona.
So yeah, we want somebody who makes sense but ends up being bad.
If we're being fair, a lot of picks did not work out with Arizona. A lot of picks.
Yeah,
they wasted a lot of picks.
Yeah, because the gods are true and fair.
But it wouldn't make sense for them to take Warren here.
Don't speak these things.
I don't know. Kittle's getting hurt a lot and a little old in the tooth.
He was at WrestleMania chugging a beer.
So
his career's over.
So that's something.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
Carly in chat is saying who above us actually does need a tight end. Like if we were going to forecast where Warren goes, you got
the Colts
coming up.
The Colts.
The Colts.
Possibly the Dolphins.
Cowboys too. Really, they could use any offensive help.
But they got Schoonmaker and they have Ferguson. They probably wouldn't.
They probably wouldn't.
Oh, Tyler Warren's a whole nother caliber over those two boys.
Warren has been like projected to the Colts like since day one.
Yeah.
And then tight end starting to get pushed down. So I really think at 14
that's probably where it goes.
He goes there. Unless Seattle gets a little sneaky. Careful.
They
could be spicy.
Pick is in for the Niners, so they're not trading with them. Cowboys. Like we're starting to get into range where
Dolphins
where the Seahawks could move up with a 3rd round pick.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't take a ton of freight to get from where they are at 18 up to 12 or
John Schneider's been talking about that for weeks, right? But it's like, it's not, the price to move is much less now.
Right.
That's why he doesn't want to trade back. He's like, I'm not getting enough value.
Could you trade up here and take, the guard of your choice and be sure that he's not off the block? Because Colts are going to be looking at offensive line because they got rid of Fries and Kelly.
Yeah.
And Falcons need help up front. Cardinals could still use some offensive linemen.
I think there's just enough guys at guard that you probably don't want to waste that. You don't want to use that extra pick unless you really are in love with a guy.
I mean, hell would officially freeze over if John Schneider traded up to take a 1st round guard.
We are surrounded by about 500 Seahawks fans. And by the way, I went around the table. I'm handing out our cards with our QR codes, talking to everybody. I'm like, what do you want? What do you want? It's like 92% are just like, I just want an O-line. Like I just want every single person. I just want an O-line. I just want to go get the best guard.
Just a bunch of lazy narrative people.
It's a lazy narrative in the NFL.
Yeah.
Optimus Prime saying everyone needs offensive line. See, he's sticking with the lazy narrative like everybody else.
Yeah. So
Phil says we need to trade to 13 if we want Warren.
Yeah. No, that'd be
fine.
cool.
Do it.
So who is my sports hate becoming huge for right here at the Niners pick in?
Yeah. We need to know who we're sports hating the most. Michael Williams.
All right, Williams. All right.
So, he's got kind of got like a Michael Irvin type outfit on. Just if we're talking fit still.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that there was a Michael Irvin line here. What is that? Is that like a tie or a chain?
Diamond tie?
It's a tiny tie.
Tiny tie?
No,
Is it supposed to be like a bolo?
No, it looks like initials.
Hey guys,
We're really far away.
It's a tiny tie, or bad news, he's an actual giant. he's actually like 72 feet tall.
I don't know. Anybody that plays for the Giants or has come from the Giants recently, other than Saquon, hasn't been good.
Tiny Ty, Giant Man, Michael Williams.
So an edge player to pair with Nicholas John Bosa.
I mean, look, that I like him better than Walker. He certainly comes from a great school. It's one of those things that listening to the other pundits that it's like sometimes you see it and sometimes he disappears a little bit. But, I don't know. Show me a college player that doesn't have some of that, right? They're not finished products at this point.
At least they're showing highlights here of him just not coming unblocked off the edge and getting a sack. Because those are my least favorite highlights.
Yes.
But he's actually shedding dudes and making tackles. I don't like this pick.
Well,
It's not going to translate to the league.
and because it's Georgia, it's against UF, Texas, LSU.
Yeah.
Look, I think it's a smart pick. Hate to say it,
Gross.
but I think it's a smart pick.
Go ahead. You're out.
Hey, look, man, Robert
Rest
Saleh
of the day
seems
off.
to get the most out of some of these guys, too. So him being back, I think, is probably one of their biggest offseason moves for sure.
If I was in their shoes, my number one priority would be to help out Bosa, and I think they do with this pick. So that's the honest take.
All right. So who do we have up next? Is it the Cowboys?
Cowboys. Here's
How
where Shadur
does
goes.
Jerry Jones screw this up?
Taking Shadur.
Matthew Golden has been the real. That's been the
The more chalk pick.
even like the Vegas odds was something like you would only get like plus 120 to hit Golden on the nose.
Yeah,
Which
but they need a running back. Couldn't this be Omario Hampton?
It could be, and it could be Henderson. Henderson's really, really good too.
Well, leave it to Jerry Jones to do something crazy here. So we'll see how
Cowboys pick coming in. The Miami Dolphins next up on the clock.
We're getting close.
they still have picks. Can they even sign their picks?
This
Like
is
they-
this is the trade opportunity for
Okay.
Clinton's dream to stay alive.
Right,
is
because they
getting ahead
need
of the
picks.
Colts.
Okay.
Oh!
He stole my heart. Oh my goodness! I sunk when it was. You guys knew what I was
I
thinking.
know exactly what you're thinking, but my heart still sunk a little bit. Like that's maybe the top-rated guard off of the board.
It's okay, but again, I'm not going to disagree, and I think a good guard's a good guard, and he's an actual guard who plays guard. That's nice.
Yeah, I like that sort of thing.
But if you're playing an outside zone and you have to be quick and you have to get
Look
outside.
at it move right now.
Oh, I'm wrong. Forget it.
that guy's unathletic. Look
He
at
has a nice shimmy. Is that a Metallica necklace, or is that a tiny tie?
I don't know.
He's way too excited to be a Cowboy. I'm glad we didn't get him.
Yeah, for sure at that point. So
Well, that makes I know Phil is watching in chat. Phil's really happy because his nightmare scenario is that we were going to take Tyler Booker.
well, let's talk about nightmare scenarios. I really only have one that would really get my ire, and it literally would be drafting Shadur Sanders at 18. That would be the absolute worst thing in the world to me in this.
But do you remember? Are you
I don't think
forgetting
that happened.
that just like 10 days ago now, maybe 8 days ago, we brought back Drew the Hose Lock?
That's right.
We're locked in, baby. Don't worry.
We're locked in. Don't worry. I don't know, man. John does crazy stuff. What's your nightmare scenario then at 18, Clee?
Ugh, I got a couple.
Some of the nightmare scenarios are kind of off the board now.
Shamar Stewart to me.
Yeah, that I can't stand the traitsy guys.
Eminwari, I don't think is a great. I don't want a safety, and I don't think Eminwari is. To me, he's like.
What about Malachi Starks?
I think he's a good safety.
Because that's I had a dream 2 nights ago that's who they chose because he's Raven-y.
So I think Malachi Starks is he's interesting too because he's going to make a team better. Malachi Starks is good, and he could go in and like play. Yes, as a safety, but they'll bring him down the line and play like almost like slot. They'll bring him into the box, and he's a really good. Hard to frame it this way, but he's like a really good cover safety. Like he has like cornerbacky skills to me. I think Malachi Starks is really good and would improve us, but we're sitting there with 2 starting safeties. Yes, you need a third. I understand we need that, but that's not where I want to put first round capital for a dude who's on the field maybe 30% of the time. But he's a play.
I don't know. So, Eamon like I could pick him as my nightmare, but I would also have some trust that with Mike McDonald having an idea of how to use a safety like that, I worry about his highlight tape is all against. It's like Wofford And anytime he plays, like the good highlights that I saw, it was a defensive lineman getting in the backfield, the ball gets tipped,
Right.
and then like he just the highlight that shows up though is his speed, and so that's the part that actually does show up in some of those highlights. But like his actual like tackles and diagnosing plays, it was against some of the smaller school talent. That
Yeah. Any nightmare scenarios in the chat there? I was curious.
No, not. I haven't seen it yet. You know who would be a Luther Burden from the wide receiver from Missouri.
They're not going to go there, though. But like
That would be a nightmare though.
that's a nightmare.
Like, but there's other wide receivers. Like if they're going to go wide receivers, I would want somebody else.
I think he's interesting, but I wouldn't want him.
I would rather go.
I like Iowa State kids more.
Yeah, me too.
I'd rather go Ohio State and Egbuka and go, hey, if we're going to double down on
JSNs?
slot guys,
Yeah.
let's just get all slot guys.
Three cups, three slots, one cup.
Oh no.
More dancing. The other nightmare scenario for me is Jahad Campbell. Now there's like medical concerns that popped up like yesterday, all of a sudden. So he's falling down the board, and people like go to bat for Jahad Campbell. And I shared with you guys weeks ago when I watched some of his tape, I'm like, okay, I think he's a successful middle linebacker. And they're like, no. He's really good on the edge. He's the next Micah Parsons on the edge. All I saw him doing at edge was beating really slow, bad tackles that are not long for the NFL. And then like things that were like misassignments.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. And as a linebacker, I was like, okay, I think he's a good linebacker. But I don't think you're getting people who've convinced themselves he's the next Micah Parsons. I don't see it off the edge. I just don't think it's there.
I don't know if you were talking about Jahad Campbell.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're expecting Micah Parsons, I wouldn't go there. But I would say that I think just based on like the leadership aspect, the ability to play actual linebacker, I don't look at him as Parsons, like an off the edge guy. I would look at him as a middle or weak side linebacker.
Actual linebacker.
Yeah, that to me makes more sense. And it wouldn't be a nightmare scenario for me. But
does that make it difficult? I mean, we have Ernest Jones. We just drafted Tyrese Knight, who, for all intents and purposes, outperformed what many thought he would do in year one.
You go back to playing three like regular linebackers.
Yeah, and I did hear on the Athletics draft show here this morning, Robert Mays talking about how the Seahawks have been rumored to be doing a ton of work on the linebackers in this draft. So maybe that's something that points.
I have heard that there are some injury concerns around Jahad Campbell, though, that could be causing him to drop. So that it might end up being a little early. Maybe you can get him early in the second round.
And they're like super recent rumors, like last 36 hours.
Right.
So-
Which usually that means that somebody heard something from a team or multiple teams, and that's where it's starting to get around.
We do really want you to kickstart your fitness journey, whether you're an athlete like us, fitness enthusiasts like us, or just getting back in shape. Body Spec has you covered. Bodyspec.com/C-Hawkers. That's where you're going to want to go for less than the price of a haircut, which is not that expensive. You can access DEXA scans, the world's most accurate body composition scans. These scans, they check you out and they really give you all the metrics that actually matter. We're talking about your body composition, bone density, your overall health metrics. And folks, this is something that's going to be well under $100. It is a great gift to give to you, give to yourself, give to a loved one. Mother's Day, of course, is coming up. Give the gift of a DEXA scan today. And again, bodyspec.com/C-Hawkers. Get your discount. And we got the pick is in from the Dolphins. Let's check it out.
Kenneth Grant
All right,
off the
Kenneth
board.
Grant off the board. And
To Miami.
most important, Kenneth Grant off the board. He's a DL. We all like him. Big Michigan guy. More important, Amy Holmes on the board. Amy, what's up?
Oh my gosh, we're having such a good time here. It's great with we got Lisa, we got Jason, we've got oh my god, I can't remember everybody else. Anyway, we're having a great time. We saw a lot of really awesome people here, got all sorts of autographs. Just an awesome place here, so it's really fun.
So you've been out and about with everybody here, all these new flockers.
Yes.
What's the vibe out there? You're talking about our pick. Is there a consensus, or what's the desire from the people?
There is absolutely no consensus. It is like nobody knows what anybody's going to be doing, so everybody's just kind of hanging out and waiting and seeing what's happening and being surprised by a few of these, I think.
Well,
Surprised by the Niners.
We've got a lot of people in chat shouting you out, Amy. We've got Bloomy. We've got Flocktimus Prime.
Nice.
We've got Josh DeHuman. Lisa, who's actually here in attendance and also chatting in the live stream.
Two places.
Lisa.
Yes, we've been chatting enough in the chat. So.
We got Nate Schutz saying hi. Got Carly Perkins. We got Vieth in here giving you a shout out.
Everybody
here. So
Love it.
I do want to ask Amy. So, all right. So the Flockers, we don't know what they want. No consensus. How about Amy Holmes? 18th pick. You're John Schneider. What are you doing? What do you want?
I am going with BPA, and I know that's kind of taboo, but I just want good players. Obviously, you're going to kind of go with something that fits with what you need a bit, but I would hate to pass up someone who's amazing and be sorry that we went with somebody else. So
Any particular position? BPA, all good. You know my position on that's fine. But any particular positional BPA that you'd be happier with?
I would not be sad to go defense with a defensive coach because he would know who the hell he was picking. So I would be fine with anybody on the defense, I think.
Well, we just saw
adding strength to strength with the best player available.
Yes.
It's hard to argue with that.
not a bad idea. We just saw that was the Dolphins, right? That took Kenneth Grant.
Yes.
Right.
That is.
That's a player who was mocked to Seattle quite a bit.
He was. That's also probably BPA for them. Like, hey, look, if you take Michigan guys that are 330 pounds that can play the 1 technique, the 3 technique on defense, and just really change the demeanor of your defense, probably a BPA pick that you're after. Tight.
Yeah. You got to watch this one.
Indianapolis Colts coming in. Oh,
Tyler Warren off the
no.
board. Now what do you do?
You knew it was coming.
I cry. I go back on the botel and cry myself to sleep. I knew it was coming. I think I'd say about probably 2 weeks ago, I was reserving the fact that this was going to happen, but I thought Loveland would still be on the board.
Yeah.
So
As did we all.
so I started falling in love with Loveland.
Right.
Yeah.
So now the tight end dream is obviously,
The tight end dream is gone.
yeah, you got to punt on tight end. That's just how it's got to be.
So what do you do now?
For me, I mean, I go back to, just Joe Friday, just the facts. I'm looking at Grey Zabel. I'm looking at Donovan Jackson.
Yeah.
And for me, it's Grey Zabel.
Okay.
I think that dude is the best guard slash
And
center.
all of the stories you hear about him are just.
And I know Bloomy's going to throw tomatoes
I know.
as he's going to, but
I know
he
we've
doesn't want a
been
small
giving
school
him some
guy.
crap in the.
It's all good. It's all,
In the chat.
we welcome it all. But yeah, I would go at this point. I'll go look at what's out there still. But right now, I would take Grey Zabel and be like, let's go fix the major freaking problem with what. But by the way, with what I think is going to be on Seattle's board, actually
Yes.
one of their BPAs.
Well, and that was the thing too. I think is that everybody, is talking BPA as if that's not a thing, but BPA depends on the team's board, not on the.
Like we're not taking
consensus
quarterback.
board. Not on right. Not
Even
on
if he's the
well,
best,
well,
even
we
if
should
Shedeur
do
is the
that.
best player, according to Mel Kiper.
Please, yes, no, don't do that. That would probably be one of the few things that would make me really, really, really sad. I think I could probably get on board with just about anything except for that.
So a couple of weeks ago, before he caught a little fire, Matthew Golden was being kind of pushed towards the Seahawks in 18. Now he might be there. He may be there in 3 more picks. We'll see.
Do you want a wide receiver with this offense? I don't think I do.
I don't. I don't. And I think I actually like Ibuka better anyway. And then there's other dudes that I like anyway. But I wouldn't be shocked at this point. Not what I want.
I wouldn't be shocked by anything. But yeah.
Guys, Josh Simmons is on the board still. I would not hate Josh Simmons being a Seattle Seahawks.
I mean, a guy who's primarily a tackle there.
You got, dude, what are we doing with Abe Lucas? Is he healthy? Are you, there's no 50-year, this is, gotta extend Abe Lucas. Can you kick Abe into right guard? Maybe.
He's never done it before.
But here,
And are we like, we have a little experience as Seahawks fans with a patellar tendon tear, right?
Yeah.
With Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
How did that end?
I mean, he was pretty good when he came back.
It was okay.
No,
He wasn't the same.
Who tore his patella?
Simmons.
Yeah, but like, he's healing.
Yeah.
But I hear,
Well, I think that's what happened to Abe.
Like that. We don't know.
I know, but based on the clues that he's dropped.
Right.
Oh, okay. That's what you think it is?
Yeah.
I see. It felt like some sort of meniscus thing that just was slow to heal or something for me, but
He did say it was a tendon.
I
that he
really,
was dealing with.
I really want to see Jalen Walker go off the board before we're up. He's just, maybe I'm being biased from like watching people I like and trust.
Yeah.
But I like and trust them for a reason.
I want Golden off the board.
Right here. All right, I'll be back.
Okay. That would be it for me. Because even if they did draft an edge, I wouldn't be that upset about it. I think it's something that could be helpful going forward, and you're building on a strength with the signing of DeMarcus Lawrence and all that good stuff. So,
So there's been a lot of rumors that Mike Green would go to the Bengals. Number one, they got the Trey Hendrickson issues. It's like, what's going to happen with him?
Yeah.
They may need to try and replace that, which is hard. Number two, they tend to overlook character flaws. They don't seem to care. Yeah, they don't seem to care about character flaws whatsoever.
but we got Lisa?
Yeah.
We got
coming
Lisa
in
Tarleton?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the set just got
She's coming in hot.
this got way better. Way better. Make sure you put it on Brandon's earphone so you can.
Here we go. Here's Lisa Carlson for the Flockers out there. You might know her as Lisa in Seattle.
Lisa in Seattle. All right. There we go. Lisa, how's it been so far?
It's good. It's okay.
Wait, what did he do here?
He turned his mic off.
He might have done something. What if I hit that
Uh-oh.
button? I'm going to hit buttons.
Guys, don't.
How about that?
Oh,
Yeah,
there it is.
we go.
I hit the right button.
I was going to say, guys, everybody out there watching, don't tell Brandon we're pushing buttons. And he doesn't want to.
Specifically, I'm pushing buttons. So we all think
That's a
good.
specialty for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ask Brick.
Right, my wheelhouse. But one pick away, Lisa. How you feeling so far?
That Zabel pick's going to be so sweet. I can't.
Yeah, I know, but the Bengals could use offensive linemen, and that scares me to death because they just, paid their wide receivers. Joe Burrow's the future. Like, you'd think that you want to double down on his strength. Like, maybe this is where Zabel goes, just one spot ahead of him.
It could be. And I basically just said that because I wanted to tweet Bloomy. What's up, Bloomy?
Love that. This is so freaking cool. Just not being here with 500 people, but then having rotational flockers come in like you, Lisa. It's really kind of a dream come true. It's so freaking awesome.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's super exciting.
All right, so is Zabel number one with a bullet? That's who you want for sure?
No, I would prefer defense, honestly.
Wait, say again?
I would prefer defense.
Gotcha.
Any defense.
Okay, so
feel like
a
double
threat
down
defense,
the
or are you
defense.
down for like a corner even?
I don't know. No, trench defense.
So
trench D-line.
Harmon's still out there from Oregon. Harmon's a big, beefy defensive tackle. He's good.
Kenneth
man.
Brand's still out there. Yeah. So Brandon was talking a little bit about corner, and it's just something that doesn't interest me at all. I'm like with you. If you want to double down on the trenches on the defensive side, cool.
Because like the value, there's still value in round 2 for offensive line.
Absolutely. And there's value in corner all the way through
Yeah,
round 2
yeah.
as well. So, that'd be a position. What if they went like safety? Like one of the things I've been hearing from a lot of different people throughout the draft process is Malachi Starks is somebody that people pegged as Ravensy. And that scares me a lot. Maybe because of McDonald's.
As McDonald's kind of Ravensy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have an opinion. Not about safety.
And Johnny Benton.
that means I don't care. Like,
No, I hear you.
But you want your beef. You want your beef.
I want some beef.
Yeah.
I want some
That's
beef.
fair. Yeah, thigh arms. You want some more new thigh arms in the middle,
I need-
middle of that line. Yeah.
I need thigh arms. All right. Well, Brandon's back, so I'm gonna check out.
Well,
Good talking to everybody.
Yes, thank you for coming by.
It was
Yes,
delightful.
absolutely.
Best. You're the best.
And Clinton, you still look like you're Robin Lucky Charms. I just want you to know.
Thank you. For the viewers out there that aren't that want to know about the fit. We're talking about fits today.
Hey, you fit right there.
This is my homage to Darnold and Cooper Kupp coming to the Northwest.
That's a strange thing to have an homage for. It's almost as if you'd have to like those moves to have as an homage to them.
Well, there are guys now.
Yeah, I know.
Rider. All right, the Bengals pick is in.
Oh, don't be Zabel. Please don't be Zabel.
Brandon is in. Hey guys, here's good news. They went to commercial for the Bengals pick.
Oh.
We pick next.
Does that? Oh, was Lisa on mute the whole time?
No, I pressed buttons and made it work.
Whoa, you did that?
Yeah.
No, dude. Well, I'm glad you were pressing buttons and not Clinton.
Oh my gosh, I'm above Clinton when it comes to tech stuff.
Don't blame me for the first 10 minutes of this podcast.
I mean, not if you want to place accurate. Yeah.
Don't tell Greg that Lisa wants peace.
Great comment. Great comment. Who was that?
That was
that
Thomas,
Flash?
yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Super Nintendo Choppers.
Rappaport says we might trade out.
Yeah, here we go.
We might trade or not. Stellar reporting. That's
That's amazing. I would like to report that we may pick or not. Yeah.
it's almost the exact same report.
Jamar Stewart,
but different.
The Bengals, the Zabel dream.
Okay. So that's very Bengali. I thought they might go Mike Green and go for a guy who actually gets sacks in college, but they went full-on traits. Full-on traits.
Why
Now,
wouldn't you just pay the guy who actually gets sacks in the NFL?
But here's the thing. Shamar Stewart, I think people are over-rotating. Yes, he doesn't have a lot of sack production. He is a really good edge run defender. He does that day one. And then he has the ability, it looks like, to rush the pass. So, I know, according to other folks that have seen him live, they think he could be something special. But he can set the edge day one and be a good edge.
Right.
That's not valuable. It's not like you're just completely rolling the dice.
Gotcha. Big shout out to the 293 people that are with us live here.
Totally got
That's amazing. It's super chat.
And the other 500 people that are here live in the room.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's a ton of folks.
And the two of those people who are watching on their phones live.
Yes, exactly. So we have a little duplicate there, but if you're liking like this and us doing this sort of thing, hit the like, hit the subscribe. We
Gotta do it.
appreciate
Hit those
it.
likes, hit those
If you
subscribes.
like offensive line picks made at 18, hit like and subscribe. If you think Christopher Hart is the greatest man to ever little flocker, hit like and subscribe. He just walked by. And,
Christopher Hart may have the best beard, though. I think
and the best gray streaks. It is.
if
That's
we
a
were
handsome fellow.
if we were gonna draft beards
Call it what it is.
of this panel,
Oh, I'm last.
number one pick.
I don't know if I...
Oh yeah,
Christopher.
Christopher Hart's way. Yeah, we got to say.
Christopher Hart,
Yeah.
who helped make some of this possible.
Look at this beard. Look at this beard. Look at this
Rocking the Tyler Lockett jersey. There we go. We got the beard on screen. We also got JC Schilling coming in with the $4.99 Super Cat saying, "Welcome back to the West Coast, Clinton. Good to see."
JC. We appreciate that a ton. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been out here. Actually, it was like a good year and a half now. Yeah, since I've been out to Seattle.
Really?
So,
Was it that long?
'cause I didn't go last season.
No, you came out.
That was the season before.
And you stayed at the cabin and we drove out here?
Right, that was the season before.
That was the season before?
Yeah.
Why are we this old and why does it go this fast?
So Aaron F, please not golden.
I'm with you.
Nightmare.
How about good vibes? How about to the chat, the
Okay.
300 people? Who do you want?
Sable.
Put in the thread, who do you want? While you hit like, while you subscribe, tell us. You got the conch.
Yeah.
You are John Snyder. Who are you taking right here?
Well, we've got Bloomquist coming in saying, guys, he still likes Starks, Golden, and Harmon.
He only got one like.
I would not mind Harmon.
Yeah.
Harmon is beefy and can play.
That would be exciting. I do like Harmon. He popped up when I was doing quarterbacks. He was somebody that popped up in the film a few times. It's not very often that somebody stands out when I'm watching the quarterbacks.
Yeah. Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle out of
Okay.
Oregon.
We did not trade back, boys and girls. The pick is
the
in.
pick is in.
Oh, here it is. Eaglet Snupper says it's Lamar Jackson. He said, yeah, that's
hey,
what we want.
no tipping picks in the chat, Eaglet Snuffer.
Lamar.
Matthew Robson's drafting my beard first, so I appreciate that.
Brandon's beard. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, if we're drafting beards, but I mean,
Yeah, his is solid.
it's okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
I appreciate
That's it. I would say it's a B+ beard. I'd say it's a Geno Smith beard.
Yeah.
Raven is down for Zabel. Charlie says Starks or a corner. Well, the corner, Will Johnson's still there. And I'm telling you, I'm getting these vibes, guys. A Michigan guy that was a core component of that defense when they won the national championship. Mike McDonald, just not saying it's what I want. I'm just saying it's.
I like how the NFL coverage has drafted our offseason as interesting.
It's just amazing that we're not a commercial right now. Can we thank the NFL for breaking a trend of, I don't know, a million years?
A million years, yes. No, for sure, thank you. And it's interesting. Yeah, okay, they're dapping each other up.
Or do you think that that the commish comes out halfway on the stage and then he walks back and then they go to commercial?
Oh boy, that would make sense. And then it goes like, whopper, 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 whopper. And we just get that for like
we get the
40 minutes.
Song.
Okay.
I gotta say, it's pretty cool to be in the room where like there's Seahawks right there. They're like, who's gonna be our next boy?
Yeah.
And they're right there. Brady Russell is right there.
That's right. Kenny McIntosh right there.
Yeah. Julian Love right there.
Kenny McIntosh is saying, don't take a running back. Don't take a running back. Here we go, Goodell. Coming in with the pick.
Draft. The Seattle Seahawks select Grey Zabel.
They did it! They did it! They took a guard! They took a guard!
Holy Hannah, we did it! We took a guard!
Oh, thank God, offensive line. It's a miracle. See, all we had to do was badger John Schneider. Catfish! Enough until he finally got catfish. Did it.
All we had to do was fall in love on a boat.
That's right. Oh,
we got
huzzah.
We took a guard who plays guard, who also plays tackle and
also plays center.
That's right. And all he has to do to be perfect is shave that hideous mustache.
Oh my goodness! Make it a beard. Make it a beard like Christopher's.
There you go. Exactly.
Oh, yes. Oh, we got some thumbs up for across the crowd. I think people are more shocked.
I think everybody's excited. Absolutely.
All right.
Riot
We got
911 saying that let's go in Bloomy's face. Now, I think Bloomy, where his perspective was, it's not like he wouldn't have been, like, I know he's a little bit upset, but because he's been kind of off the train for so long. But I think it's just that he's worried about his ability to become elite. And
yeah,
we would be fine with just upgrading.
I'm not worried at all about drafting an elite player here, offensive line. What I'm worried about is drafting one that can actually just, I don't know, play average offensive line. Like, that would be amazing.
Right.
Yes, I would absolutely settle for that. And this is exciting, man. Like, it helps. It helps with the way that John Schneider approached free agency in terms of not really going after anybody. It was something that was highly frustrating to me. I know a lot of people were mad at how frustrated I was with that, but this was the thing, is I didn't have much faith that John would do this in the draft. And this is something that actually helps alleviate some of those concerns. Now, you still need to draft one more.
Right.
And I would hope that they do that in the remaining of their first 5 picks.
Yes. This makes it easier to do 2 in the first 5 picks when you start off with number 1 rather than going tight end. But we've got RJ Taylor saying it was all Pete's fault. We never drafted O-line. John's on the right track. He's got Pete off his back about never drafting guard. Now he doesn't have to toe the company line and can actually draft guards. And see, overdrafted and overpaid, no such thing.
I'm happy.
No, me too. Me too.
I'm like, what's the emotion? The emotion is pure happiness. Like that. Hey, what's the problem with the team? What was the problem with the team? Did we hopefully address that and really put capital into it?
You addressed one of the 2 really bad spots on the offensive line.
Center? You're saying center?
No. There's 2 guards. We need 2 guards.
Okay, but yes, true. Yeah. But we do have other. But now we have more likelihood that the other dudes who are there, one of those 3 might be a pretty good guard.
It does not increase the likelihood that one of the 3 will be able to make the step up. But what it does do is it makes it so you don't have to have 2 of them take that step forward and be the guy that is going to be a competent starter.
That's a better take.
We've got Aaron F. coming into the chat with a 12-12 super chat. 12-12 for our newest guard. This is awesome.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I just went over to Brady. I asked him if he could pop on. He said they're going to their plane. He said a lot of them are going to their plane.
Oh.
So, but I did wish him congratulations because they just got married, the Russells.
That's right.
I told them their wedding photos.
Third best hair wedding I've seen in a long time.
And I said, now you're our new fullback. He goes, yeah. He was like, he lit up. I was like, so fullback? He goes, yeah. I go, good. We need one. He goes, yeah. I'm like, cool. So very nice guy. He's like, I'd love to hop on. He's like, we're literally leaving. So
Katie Mack giving us a wave.
amazing. The Seahawks that are here seem pretty enthused.
Yep.
You know, we got offensive guys in the room besides Julian Love, of course, but seemingly enthused about that pick. So that's a good sign.
Well, and the nice part about the Zabel pick is that he does seem to be a guy that could be a scheme fit for Kubiak's offense with the wide zone stuff and being able to move and do all of those things very well. Plus the versatility helps when you're trying to figure out, all right, which one of those three guys in terms of Bradford, Haynes, and Lamea are going to make that jump.
Or something else.
Sure. Look, I'm not going to
North Dakota State.
undrafted North Dakota State. Like I'm done pinning my hopes on undrafted offensive line prospects. Like we've done that for years and years and years. I've been burned too many times. I don't care. Like Sindel is not somebody I consider seriously for it.
Yeah.
But one of those three dudes, you don't know which one of them is going to step up and whether they're going to be able to step up at right guard or left guard. And now with Zabel, with his versatility, you can put him opposite of whichever one they're able to be.
Yeah, and he does have that versatility. Even in his college tape, you're seeing him play right guard, you're seeing him play left guard, you're seeing him play tackle. I'll go back to the talk we had with Cam Miller, just that said that he was a great guy, and so he got the endorsement. And we've got the endorsement of R.J. Taylor coming in, boys. $50 in the super chat.
Holy smokes! I think we owe him.
Seriously, have a full on.
There you go.
Yeah, man. There we go.
Have a drink on me. Thank you,
RJ, thank you.
Super kind of you.
See, that's all we had to do. We had to show up to one of these draft parties in a big way to finally get John to draft offensive line early.
He obviously knew we were going to be here.
Yeah.
And we got to make it happen.
Oh man.
Raven saying, so can I go back to bed, or is it likely we trade back in?
See that we talked about this early at breakfast.
Right.
So my dream scenario, would have been still a tight end, but that doesn't matter. Was that we stick and pick at 18 and we get somebody like Zabel. Now we have Zabel. And then if we love somebody, trade back in. Put it together and trade back in and go get another special player. We have the capital, so why not? So I'm not ruling it out.
Who's left on the best available board, Clinton? Like, where do we be looking at the guys that you'd be like, yes, that would be worth trading back in to get to?
I mean, a lot of people love Jihad Campbell still, even though I have my challenges with but
what don't I know about Jihad Campbell? Oh, he's the Alabama kid. Okay. Right.
So Campbell's still available. Is Johnny Brown still available? Sorry, Barron still available?
Yeah.
Yes.
Corner. I mean, he was at points projected as top 10.
And he's projected to be the top corner.
He was. Yeah. And Will Johnson is still available too, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so that's another one. I think Derek Harmon from Oregon, just being the big defensive tackle.
Anika Ibuka off the board to the Bucks.
Ooh, that's actually pretty nice. That's good for the Bucks. Good for Mayfield. Good for the Bucks. You got they got an aging wide receiver core, and that makes a lot of sense.
Did they lose Godwin in the offseason?
I believe they did.
Yeah.
They lost one of their receivers.
No, it was definitely Godwin who could have been on the move, but that's a different type of receiver to pair now with Mike Williams. They have very different styles. I think that'll fit.
Got Samuel Gelber coming in with a $12 super chat. Thanks to Sam.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
I believe Godwin re-signed with the Bucks.
Oh, did he?
Oh, did he end up back at the Bucks?
Oh, that'd be it.
That's quite the crew then.
Yeah.
Godwin, Ibuka.
Because they drafted wide receiver last year.
Godwin and Evans are getting what's his face from BGs.
What's his face is amazing.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He was okay. Vieth saying, what pick would you be okay with or like Milroe at?
Say that one more time.
What pick would you like Milroe at? Like if they were to, we're talking trades back into the first round. Like at what point is it too early to make that kind of move?
So I guess the question becomes, because I don't think he's going to last much longer than the top of the second.
Yeah.
So do you use your early second round pick on him? I don't know, but it is compelling, the idea of packaging picks coming up to the back end of the first, so that way you get that extra year of team control, which is extra important for a guy like Milroe, who's going to need some time to develop.
Yeah. He needs the extra year, and so why not? If you're going to trade back into the first round, that would make sense.
That would thrill me. I'd be really excited about that. Yeah. And it's not because I think Milroe is a slam dunk type of guy that's going to come in and be really good, but I do think that his potential upside is really high.
Yeah.
Really, really high. So I guess Broncos up. I'm going to go with, I think Hampton was the pick here for the Broncos.
Oh, Omar and Hampton makes a ton of sense. Yeah, the Broncos, they keep trying to get a running back. They took Escamane last year, and they have Williams on the roster still, but I think they need the elite guy, and I think Hampton could be that guy.
Yeah, he's been mocks them a lot. I think it's probably the pick. I would not be shocked if they go wide receiver though. Like, I feel like they could use a little more help, and I think Sean Payton would not mind to give Bo Nix another choice weapon. I thought they were a sneaky tight end possibility, but they got.
We're getting treated to a concert here at Clearwater Casino right now.
These guys are tight too.
Yeah, they're good.
Well, they tour with Sir Mix-a-Lot.
What's that?
They tour with Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Oh, I can see why. They're crazy talented. Yeah. Kind of going back to the Milroe conversation,
Yeah.
Is that something that excites you, the idea of trading back up for a quarterback? It does me maybe a little bit more because I'm lower on Sam Darnold than most.
Yeah. There's an element that's like innate to Milroe. That's like undeniable. Like he's undeniably exciting. So I can't sit here and be like, I can't answer that question with a no.
What if it was Dart?
What's that?
What if it was Dart?
No, worse. Okay. I think Milroe's got the ceiling and the chops for a modern quarterback. So I'd be excited about it. I'm just team building wise, it's not what I would want to do. That's not the kind of talent I'm after, personally. But you guys asked like, what is left on the board that excites you?
Yeah. Harmon?
Derek Harmon's like probably my number one. I doubt we would trade back in to take another offensive lineman. I just
Donovan Jackson. Go get Donovan Jackson.
Hey, man, I'd be thrilled about it, and I ain't getting greedy.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, that would, if they were to do that and be like, hey, we're convicted.
Yeah.
Or they want to go get Josh Simmons just sitting there and be like, we're getting a badass tackle. And we'll figure it out. I would be okay with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it just as Abe Lucas insurance, more so than like the idea of trying to take Abe and moving him inside.
Yeah.
So once I see 2 full seasons now out of Abe Lucas, then I'm going to feel better about where he's at.
So the area that I think, I'm not sure it'll be us, but I think a team will surprise at the back end is trading in to the first round to go take a wide receiver, because they are so expensive now. So if you can get the 5th year with the wide receiver you really believe in, we saw the Niners do that last year with Ricky Pearsall. And whether that's good, bad, or indifferent, that doesn't matter. It's the idea, the process. So like the thing that would thrill me the most would be to go back in to go get Jalen Milroe. That would give me the most joy and be like, I think they made the best move for the team at this point. I don't think it's likely, but I would bet, but I think one of these teams will trade back in and snag a wide receiver. Why not us, as Russ would say?
Yeah, well, there you go.
So one of the questions in chat was, what would it take necessarily if you wanted to move back into the first round at this point? Charlie Momberg saying, would 50, 82, and Howell be enough to get back in?
Well, that adding Howell makes it less attractive.
It might, but if a team is actually valuing Howell at 11th
rounder,
I think it would have to be a value as a 6th rounder to get back in if you're including Howell. So they would have to view him at that, and I don't know if necessarily they do. But if you go by the draft value chart, you get about it's about 400 points for pick number 50, 82s 180. That is enough to just sneak you as to Kansas City Eagles type level.
I'm sorry, I was totally distracted. Earl Thomas is 10 feet away from us, and I just I didn't math any of that. So basically, that what you were talking about, it gets you to
what Shirley said is that it's in reach. I would think that you would probably, if it's not Howell, because why would I don't think Kansas City or Philly is quarterback needy, and so Howell probably doesn't provide that much value. Really, the last 4 picks wouldn't make sense for Howell. Well, I don't know. Who's Buffalo have for a backup?
Somebody better than Howell.
Yeah, they have an okay backup.
But you might end up having to
Is
go
it Trubisky still?
It was. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. So him and Howell are about a wash.
Yeah. So I think it's possible. You probably end up having to throw in a future pick. But you can do it. You can get into the back end of the first round.
Ooh, Broncos.
Oh, there
Broncos
goes
take
Barron.
Jahdae Barron, the cornerback.
That's interesting. See, I would have thought running back a wide receiver. When I was watching the Broncos offense last year, the one thing that kept popping into my mind was, my God, they're just a number one, like a true number one away from being a pretty potent offense.
I think this is just a case of this is BPA, right? Like that's, and it's not a bad example. Like everybody's saying they should take a running back. Now, if the Broncos could package back up and go take Hampton, early second or back in the first, or Travion Henderson, then they get their cake and they eat it too. Tomorrow, a day 2 safety that I love, I've mentioned a couple of times now, is Kevin Winston Jr. for Penn State. You put on that dude's film, I love safeties where when you're watching like the old school left, like just horizontal football, not all 12. And the dude just flies on screen out of nowhere and brings a hat and smacks a guy. Like Kevin Winston, it's like that is what you see on repeat. He is like, to me, the best tackling safety in the entire class. And he just him and Witherspoon, they're like the same type of dude who just happen to play different positions. Like it's like that kind of.
Is he somebody that could play inside at like nickel or that like big nickel third safety, and then Spoon could move outside at times? Is that somebody you see him as?
I mean, I most often saw him coming from like a deep position, coming from free and just flying in. I don't really know, but the highlights I saw, he was in free, but he was so good at like recognition. So good at sprinting the ball and just laying wood over and over and over. So, in the spirit of Earl Thomas, he's my guy.
We'll be back in a couple of minutes, y'all, to a couple more.
So Steelers got their pick. DMs. Jackson Dart, they're showing him on the couch.
Sure. Is he going to be the second quarterback over Shador?
I would not be shocked by it.
I have Jackson Dart over Shador.
Yeah, the interesting part now becomes, where does Shador go? Which is the second quarterback? I wouldn't be shocked if a quarterback didn't even come off the board again in the first round.
Yeah, I honestly don't think that there's more than one first-round quarterback in this draft. I really don't. I mean, I think you could make a case for a couple dudes here at the bottom, but I don't think that they're worth it. Like, if any other draft, I think that they would be at best second-round quarterbacks, if not third-day guys.
Sorry to those of you who heard feedback sound. That is not us.
It wasn't us.
That was
Those are performers.
The Steelers, that is a good pick.
With Cam Hayward.
That dude is so Pittsburgh Steelery. Just beef in the middle, and he's mean, man. This is a good football player. I'm a fan.
We did not catch any fish on the boat, Jeff. I'm sorry. We thought about going kayaking. We had an option to kayak, and that would have been all right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I wouldn't go out on like salt water in a kayak.
It was also like 45 degrees.
It was.
It warmed up, but it was like, okay, it's gonna be really cold.
Yeah, Harmon going here. I could see if there are Seahawks fans out there who are disappointed, because if you're set on the trenches, Harmon and Zabel, like that would have been I would have been okay either way.
Yeah, I would have been really excited with either of those picks. Obviously, that Zabel was 1A.
Well, interior, not as big of a need for us.
Yeah. But, another big beefy guy to play maybe straight up nose tackle, that's something they're going to have to look at later on in the draft for sure, because I want to get the most that you can get out of Byron Murphy. And I think you need that sort of body type beside him to get the most out of Byron Murphy.
There are dudes. There's the guy Sanders, and there's Alfred Collins from Texas. He's the true 335, 340. CJ West he's not that big in terms of weight. He's more 315, but he's really powerful. He can play legit nose.
So weight, it doesn't necessarily matter as much, just as long as a dude can soak up a couple blocks.
No, I hear you there, but Murphy's not bad at doing that, but I don't think that you get the most out of him by playing him that way. And I get that you don't need to have say that Florida dude is 450 or whatever to be a nose tackle to actually absorb blocks at zero technique, but I think it really helps.
Eagle at Snupper saying, was I missing something? When did Sanders fall out of the top 10 picks? We're talking about Shadur Sanders. Yeah. He has not been drafted yet.
Yeah. And I think that probably makes sense.
Well, yeah, I think just in general, the last couple of weeks, if he's asking when, last few weeks, he's just kind of been, basically, Adam, ever since you put out your top 10, the world listens.
It's true. I just need the world to start paying me millions of dollars for this expert quarterback analysis that somehow happens just by doing the bare minimum.
Chris Boucher saying, John said they drafted for position of need, so he must have been leading everyone along and using some misdirection. John was on the Pat McAfee show, according to some folks in chat, and so you had to hear him out there saying drafting for need. They did that.
Well, he also said on one of his recent shows with Bob and Dave, and that they do draft for need. Part of their player grade is need-based.
Need-based,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And I think every team does that because, like I said, if you're drafting a quarterback and you have Pat Mahomes, it could be the best quarterback on the board in a draft, but you're not taking him because he's not better than Patrick Mahomes.
100% correct. Look, the thing I was contesting for several weeks, and this does not validate or mean I was correct. It just means I might have been correct.
Take a victory lap, please.
It feels. It's not about
say it with your chest.
It's not about that it's Grey Zabel and that's the pick. It's about that the entire time I thought by the time they got to 18, John Schneider might go, he is BPA. Grey Zabel is the best player available. It's something I've been arguing for weeks, being I think the way it might break, it's obviously a position of need, obviously, but I think he's going to be way up there anyway. And I think that combination proved itself out.
So that's certainly interesting. Of the guys that went, say, in the 5 picks before Seattle, are there any of those guys that you think would have been the guy that would have been, in John's mind, maybe better in terms of BPA and maybe would have precluded them from picking Grey Zabel then at 18? Because I find that what you were saying there kind of an interesting line of thought.
I got to look it up. I mean, I know
I was trying to buy time, but it's very long-winded.
I know where Tyler Warren went. So Tyler Warren, to me,
While you look that, I can address the chat. Jeff Stevens asking if we'll change if we'll trade the 50th picks overall, since we have 52. You have those 2 picks together.
That's true.
Personally, I think it's kind of nice to have those picks together because if you have a couple of guys in that range, I think it gives you a little bit more flexibility too if you need to move just 1 pick or 2, or I don't. Hey, anybody who plays fantasy football, you love it if you have 2 back-to-back picks because one, you have guys in mind that you want to take.
Loving it, buddy. Loving it. How you feeling about the thing?
Catfish!
Great.
Good. Catfish!
Great. That's where we're at.
You want to come say a few words about it?
And he's got a Tecmo Bowl t-shirt on, man. This is my boy right here.
All right, let's get him on. What's your name? John? First of all, come in. Sit.
All right, man. You said you're stoked. What excites you about the Zabel pick?
The last time we had a left guard,
and picked in the NFL draft. That left guard went to the Hall of Fame.
He was pretty good, right?
He sure was.
Yeah.
We don't want to know what happened to him the year after the Super Bowl when he got the poison pill.
Absolutely.
Contract, but this is gonna be awesome.
We have exercised,
Really great year.
we have exercised the curse of Steve Hutchinson
Yes.
by drafting a guard.
You've heard it here first, folks, from John. Yeah. It's actually nice. Well, sweet. So with Zabel there, obviously there's still needs at another guard spot. Do you feel like the combination of Haynes or Lamea or, who am I missing, Brandon? I always blank when I try to go through three. I can only think of Bradford. Thank you. Are you excited about the idea of one of those three guys being able to step up and take that other guard spot by the reins?
I think Haynes could maybe take it. Did watch Bradford play and then Lamea and both the pass pro are huge liabilities. We did the same thing to Sam Darnold. He's gonna cost the season like Gino last year.
Right, exactly.
So I mean, to keep the pass rushers off us, we're gonna have to run the ball.
Heck yeah, man. And that's what we've all been really trying to pump up on this podcast, man. We really want to see that running game come to life and actually see a balanced offense for a change. Well, John, thank you for joining us, man. Congratulations.
Whether it's Char or whether it's K9.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
All right, go Hawks, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we got John in here. Glad we got some reaction from people in the room. And let's see, we got Chargers on the clock. Their pick coming up soon. Who do we think that we've seen some Michigan guys go off the board? Are there any Michigan guys? Oh, Grant. Is Kenneth Grant? Did he go?
Yeah, he went.
Yeah, he went already.
He went YP.
So Will Johnson would be if you're going to see the former Michigan coach take a Michigan guy.
I think that could be in range, man. Yeah, for sure. Although I could also see that they need wide receiver help bad. So I mean, Golden's still on the board, isn't he?
On the board. Yeah.
I could see them going Golden here.
Wide receiver could make some sense. Jason. Oh, is Jason going to come over
Jason's coming in.
All right, Jason Bonner coming in.
Yeah, put that on, big boy.
Actually, I might need Jason's correct name pronunciation. It is Bonner. Okay.
No, I've always said Baynard. I've had it wrong.
It's all good. It's very close to Clinton Bonner. I was going to drink his beer since he
Yes, please do. And you're going to have to get up right on the mic, too, here.
Awesome.
There we go. All right. So, Jason, an offensive lineman. Hell is frozen over. How you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling good. I wanted either O-line or D-line, so we got that.
Was there any disappointment that they didn't go with Harmon?
Not really.
Okay.
I've always been a Huskies fan, and I've always dogged on the Ducks, so I was okay with that.
Yeah. See, I was saying.
See, now you know how I feel about Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a couple more picks. Where do you see the needs falling for Seattle here in the second round? Or, if they could get back into the first, great. But any other favorites that are still on the board for you?
I mean, now that we know we've drafted an interior lineman,
it just feels like the draft is done.
No, it doesn't feel like the draft is done.
Go home.
But now it feels like we can have fun because we took care of the need. So, if they wanted to trade back into the first to get Jahad Campbell, screw it. Do that. That'd be fun. If they want to go and get a fun tight end or a fun wide receiver in the second round, I'm down with that. But yeah, I'm just glad they addressed the biggest need first.
By using that draft capital, addressing that need, now they have earned the right to actually go out and kind of do some things around the edge. Right. So does that mean they've earned the right, Jason? Please tell me this is true, because this is what I want to have happen more than anything in the world. Is Cam Scatterboo in range now? Is that something that we can do?
In the third or fourth or fifth? Yeah.
No, with our next pick.
No, not at all. Not at all. As much as I want Scatterboo, that'd be no.
We've also got people shouting you out for your beard. Jeff Stevens, he was giving you a shout out to your beard.
Thank you.
It's kind of funny. We saw Christopher in here earlier. Yeah, we're all bearded men. Yeah. People say that you cultivate the audience of the people that you are. And so I picture a lot of people out there with very strong beards listening to the show.
Yeah, for sure. Fortunately, most of the ladies are not bearded, though. That would have made it a little less palatable.
Lisa Carlson, though, is saying female Clinton is looking hot.
Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, no, it's been a blast. I've been sitting over there with all of them. It's been great to get to know them this time. And, it's been a lot of fun here. I hope our next pick we pick somebody that Coach Mike can just have fun with on defense. 'Cause our defense is freaking exciting.
So do you think that means like another linebacker or maybe safety, or like what are you thinking there?
I want D-line still, but if there is a chance to come in and get a Jahad Campbell type player, hell yeah. And honestly, what I'm really hoping for now is that the Rams go and draft Shedeur Sanders.
Oh God, that would be a dream.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I'd be very happy with tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I couldn't be more against the idea of drafting Shedeur Sanders. Like I don't see it.
No, not at all. Honestly, yeah, there's nothing there that does anything for me, especially with the baggage of his dad coming with the team. So,
I've heard an argument against the idea of like Dion being on, coming on as baggage and that sort of thing, only because he is running his own program. He's got other shit to do, right?
he does. And honestly, too, that on the flip side of like all the downsides on Dion, he does a crap load of cool stuff for the community around there too. So, there's two sides to it.
Yeah. We did see the Chargers pick, and they went with Armarian Hampton, which is a little bit surprising considering they picked up Najee Harris.
That's exciting, though.
Najee's on the back end of like his career at this point.
And Najee was a 1-year deal also.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's an upgrade, I think. Najee's been fine. Like, he's been very steady. He played a lot of games. I think it's going to be an upgrade for them.
He jellied it down our throats, not last year, but the year before when we played.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But interesting to see the Chargers go running back over some of the other skill positions that may have been more of a need, like wide receiver.
That's true. Now, Jason, you saw that the Niners, they picked Noel out of Ole Miss. Any thoughts on that?
Honestly, both the Niners got Williams and the Cardinals got Nolan, but both of those picks,
I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. Both those picks were ones where I was like, they were fringe players that if we had traded back into the mid-20s, I would have been fine with us taking. So the fact that they took them where they did, I'm cool with it. They were like anyone that scared me.
I hear you there. None of those two players were guys that I had looked at throughout the process and been like, oh my God, like those are guys that if they go to a rival, those are game wreckers. Our lives suck.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I didn't see anyone like that go to them, so I was really happy. My wife is at home watching our son, and she's from San Jose, and she's a big 49ers fan, and she was. You can't choose who you fall in love with.
It's true.
But she
she has a fault, and that's her only one.
Exactly.
And that's so you can live with the one.
I can live with the one. There's just 2 days a year we don't talk to each other. But yeah, no, she does not like Brock Purdy and doesn't want Brock Purdy to sign a big contract.
Really?
So she was like, man, I really hope we just draft a quarterback this year, which I think would be really funny for that narrative.
I would actually enjoy that. Okay, last question for you, Jason. Jeff wants to know, what's your favorite draft pick for the Seahawks so far? I feel like it was setting you up for an amazing.
I think this is a good one. Grey Zabel. Thank you so much for the setup, Jeff. Hell yeah. And thank you, Clinton, for your beer.
If you guys heard people in the background, our musical entertainment for this evening, it was these gentlemen that were in the background tearing it up. For those who don't know who you are, could you give a little introduction?
I am the artist known as Kid Sensation from the Emerald City Posse, who is also here with me, Maharaji and Attitude Adjuster.
Yes, sir. Maharaji's in the house. You already know. C-Town full. Lead green and blue. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you hear me
get up
now?
on the mic a little bit more, Maharaji.
Now you in. Now
I don't want to
you
knock something over, I get in here with my big ass.
And in back here? Oh, wait.
The last member of the ECP, Attitude Adjuster's in the house. What's happening?
So among who's here, I think we know who the biggest Seahawks fan is.
Oh, clearly it's on.
That I don't know. I'm right there with him. I'm
All right.
with him.
I know you got the hat, but you didn't go with the Earl jersey.
Hey, look, I was on him earlier, trust me. I was like, wait a minute, you guys ain't wearing a jersey?
I had a backup one here. You could have hooked you up.
No, I know. I should have been ready.
All right, so I do want to know about your Seahawks fandom. How did you become a Seahawks fan?
I'll tell you. I'm gonna be honest. I'm dating myself a little bit, but my number 3 on the Seahawks is Rick Meyer. I actually wore Rick Meyer's jersey in one of my first music videos.
Really?
I kid you not.
Nice.
I kid you not. So I was with the Seahawks when they was I think 2-14 was our worst year.
Yeah.
And I've been with them through the good, through the bad, through the ups, the downs, everything in between. I never quit because I'm a true homer. I'm a true fan. I'm a true 12. I'm not fair weather when the team does well. I'm here for my team at all times. But I'm that way about all my Seattle teams. Seahawks, Mariners, Kraken. If you're from Seattle, Superhawks. You're from Seattle, I'm with you. I'm riding with you.
Well, we did lose our video a little bit, but we're still here on audio. And so, Maharaji, let's go to you. You're a Seahawks fandom. How did it start?
Well, okay, I'm going to let you know that I actually started out a San Diego Charger fan. And my, yeah, hey, bolts up. Zzz, zzz. But what happened was I ended up moving here, and I was young, you know what I'm saying? And then I was like, well, everybody here is kind of, a Seahawk. And I was like, well, I'm not in San Diego anymore. And I was young. I was 16 years old. And I said, you know what? I'll just start going along with this Seattle thing, to be honest with you. But then it grew into a love. You know what I'm saying? I started seeing, oh, man, Kenny, you guys don't even want to get started with me. And I was like, then I got to go to a game in the Kingdome. Yeah, I'm dating myself. But that's when it was a change for me. Even though they were losing, it's just the whole vibe of me going to the game there. It was so different,
All right. Not a Seahawks fan, but who are you rooting for? And what's
Dallas Cowboy, no question.
Cowboys? Yeah.
Seattle, I just live here.
How do you feel about what the Cowboys are doing right now?
I like the first pick we did. I like the guard we got from Alabama. I'm from Mobile, Alabama.
Oh, there you go.
Roll Tide, just for the record. But yeah, I like that pick.
All right, so one of the things that's cool, because you guys do a lot of traveling.
Yes.
What's the coolest place you ever watched Seahawks game?
Wow, that's a great question. The best place that I've ever watched a Seahawks game is in Dallas. And I got to watch Tony Romo with the fumble.
You were there?
No, not there.
Oh, that was here.
But
yeah,
I was watching it there.
You were watching it there.
Yeah,
there
absolutely. So
That's
that was a great memory.
Yeah.
For my friend Attitude.
Trying to disrespect my team is what he's doing.
Hey, but what about that Seahawk pick today? That was sexy.
Yeah.
Oh, we needed that so bad.
Yes,
we needed
indeed.
that so bad. That was interior.
Yeah, I'm so glad you say that, because interior offensive line, not always the most sexy for a lot of us fans.
See, that's real fans know, but the other fans are like, oh, it ain't that guy.
Yeah, you want the skill position guy. Those are the fun. Those are the guys you draft in fantasy.
Pay that man.
You don't draft the offensive line in fantasy, but you need those guys that we saw last year with Giro, right? Just is under pressure.
And they make everyone else look better. The skill positions, the quarterback, receivers, the running backs, those guys are the ones in the trenches making them.
Hey, but I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Geno Smith.
I was a Geno guy for a long time. And then last year, it started sliding for me.
Now Sam Darnold.
He's kind of like Geno Smith.
The white Smith.
Exactly.
I mean,
I feel like it was a lateral move.
It is a lateral move.
it was a different, just the same guy from another universe.
That part is a little bit tough for me. And I mean, I have my questions about whether or not he can really elevate us, but I think if we're making the shift more toward the run, you have to admit that Geno, he's kind of getting on the older side.
Yes.
Like, he's not going to be with us forever.
Yeah.
And so at what point were you going to move on? And what point were you going to decide in terms of cap dollars? Like, I know you're getting into the weeds on that, but like how much was Geno really worth versus how much could you save by getting someone who's very similar and is younger and could maybe be a little bit longer.
And then they brought Drew Lock back.
They were gonna have to back the Brinks truck up for Geno.
Hey, we got Alabama fan back here.
Yes, sir.
How about Jalen Milroe? What are your thoughts on Milroe? Because he could be available in the draft here.
I'm expecting him to move up. I know everybody got him kind of late first round, second round.
Yeah.
But Milroe's, if you take out the interceptions, he'll be a top 5 pick if you take the interceptions. So He just got to go to the right team.
Right.
With a good quarterback coach, he'd be solid. He's going to be impressive. Give him 2 years, man. 2 years.
And that's kind of what we've been saying on the show too, is that Milroe, like, there's not a ton of guys.
He's a big guy. He's a big guy. And he can move. Look at that, what he did.
He moves like Lamar.
Yeah, that's special.
4-3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you are not quite sold on Darnold, maybe you're sold on the other guy, maybe Milroe coming in, learning behind for a year.
Darnold had Naylor, Addison, Jefferson, and Jones back there with a nice side.
And then we got rid of DK.
Yeah. Oh, that hurts. Now you want to talk? I just got his jersey, the throwback. Every time I buy a jersey from somebody, they leave.
Don't do that.
Yeah. From now on,
only now you can go out and get Bobby.
I'm gonna just get my number every time. 22.
12.
That's why the 12 is. You got to rock the 12.
Yeah, I get it.
So where do you see our team going here and now moving forward? Any other area? Like, it's exciting. You get the guard out of the way because now it feels like it kind of opens things up a little bit.
I like that. I like what we're doing, but the issue is now we've gotten rid of Tyler and DK.
Yeah,
that puts a lot of pressure on Jackson to really step up this year, and our receiver core, it's going to be tough, man. I think
we went and picked up MVS, and that's that was an older veteran move. Right. I get it, because maybe he can teach some of these guys something, but we need to bring somebody in during this draft
that can produce. That can really produce on a high level.
We need that body.
So I'm concerned. I'm concerned about our skill positions. I'm concerned about our line. I mean, I don't know. Are we going to expect this pick to come right in and, hey, fresh off the draft, come in and just really plug a hole? Well, we'll just have to see.
And that was one of our concerns too, especially with him being a North Dakota State guy. Not the Booker.
He hasn't met the dogs yet.
Yeah.
And he's stepping up. He's stepping up a couple classes coming into the league.
Right.
So
and
it's going to be different.
We were down at Shrine Bowl, and so we had a chance to talk to Cam Miller, who is his quarterback at North Dakota State. It's like glowing things about him. So he was on our radar back at Shrine Bowl. That was even before he had a really solid performance at the Senior Bowl. So he was exciting to kind of see that. But it's a big question. You hook some of the guys on our team step up, and as skill position guys wise, I wanted to ask you, because Cooper Kupp coming to the team.
Veteran presence,
but
and he's at home.
LA Ram. Like, do you outweigh the Eastern Washington part of Cup versus the LA Ram?
Yeah,
I forgot about that too, because Cooper is going to he's got a lot left in the tank.
Yeah.
I don't for 1 minute think he's lost a step. What is 29?
What's up? He's 28. He's not Yuri. Yeah,
he's still that guy.
He's still got a lot in the tank.
He's got to stay healthy.
It's gonna be fun. I forgot all about Cooper. Shouts out to Eastern Washington University. That's crazy, man. Yeah. That's gonna be nice. That's gonna be a good fit, I think.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. Guys, really appreciate you. When you're on a show that I know people who are listening to this, they got to hear part of your show because it was just bleeding right through.
Right.
So it was a good time.
Yeah, and appreciate it, man. Seahawks Posse.
Seahawks podcast.
Yeah. Right. We'll be back. Continues.
Thanks, guys, for coming on.
All
right.
Go Hawks. You have a good one. Go Hawks.
I was so caught up in the interview, I did not get to see the chat as it was going by. I did not get to see who was coming off the board. There goes Donovan Jackson, one of our Ohio State offensive linemen that we were hoping that maybe the Seahawks would fall to us, or maybe you're hoping that would fall to the Seahawks. But there's Donovan Jackson off the board. Let's see, who else? Matthew Golden off the board.
What's up?
Went to the Packers.
If you guys wanted to see something funny, you should have just watched me fail terribly at cool guy handshakes.
Oh, did you blow that?
Oh, bad.
You tried to shake hands over there?
Yeah, but I thought we were going to do traditional handshakes, and we didn't really do anything well at that point. It was all my fault.
I got fist bump right here, and then the other guys were too far away, so I left.
I got
it on that one. I wish I would have seen the chat because, yes, there's some good questions that I see at least one question in here.
Okay, we'll start thinking about questions for Earl Thomas because I think Clinton has just grabbed Earl Thomas and he's coming on over.
Oh, here we go.
You and Clinton do this interview because I know you both will be fired up.
All right. All right, we are live at the Clearwater Casino. Earl Thomas, an awardee tonight. How was that moment for you?
It was great. I didn't know exactly what I was going to say, but I had a great team this whole time I've been back in Seattle, and all the things that we talked about, it just came to life, and it was just good to convey my message to everybody that came to support. Everybody was so happy. The autograph line was
crying around. We saw the autograph line all the way over here.
It was definitely something to get excited about.
So, what are some of the, when you would have 12s come up and ask you questions, what are some of your favorite questions that you get asked in some of these slides?
Who's my favorite LOB member?
No, you're fine.
I said Brandon Browner. Okay. Why would I say Brandon Browner? I just wanted him to hear something positive about him. Let him know that I'm caring about him. Just what he brought to the game, practice on Sundays, and even when he beat us in the Super Bowl, which sucks.
Why you got to bring that up?
I just want him to know that he can't beat me.
Oh man! So, what are some of the takeaways that you got from a guy like Brandon Browner? Just in your
So I just knew that if you put even close the right pieces around me, I knew that I can make these guys better.
Yeah.
So when I to be more specific, he's like 6'5", Sharon like 6'3". So all these guys got to do is really just get the people away and be great catchers to catch interceptions. And I'll take a lot of indecision out of their game to free them up so they can play at their best capability.
So Earl, I'm watching all these young kids getting drafted, right? And for me, I love safeties who fly in off the screen. You don't know they're there, and then it's sudden impact.
I hate the TV angle of football.
Right.
They need to show the whole screen, but it does look good.
So like the old 22 for sure, because obviously you've been doing this, you're going to the Hall of Fame, but you're one of those players where you come out of nowhere, right?
Exactly.
Now, to us, you come out of nowhere. Right. But what's going through in the process when you're seeing something and you got to make a beyond split decision? What's it like for you?
I just want real time so that my visualization will never have any indecision. But that's what the NFL does. They want to keeping this thing going. I think it'll be more defensive sided if they show the whole field. I know me as safety, I will never get beat if I don't have these weird ass transitions that I have to fight through in meetings. You fight boredom, you fight all these distractions as a young boy trying to grow up. So maybe they'll take that into consideration, like they changed the kickoff rule.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, Earl, I got a question here in chat for you from Jeff Stevens. He says, what specific game and play do you want to be remembered for on the Hawks?
My game against Atlanta, I balled. But the next time we played Atlanta that same season, for some odd reason, it was on prime time, and they game planned for all my moves.
Yeah.
So it was kind of weird. I would say that one, and then our redemption game against Pittsburgh. Our redemption game against the Patriots.
Okay.
And my hit on Gronk. That was just the attitude. I'm like, I cannot believe they tried to take advantage. They knew we was hurt. Sure. Me, Cam, that Super Bowl 49, we had to bounce back, and we did a good job doing that.
Yeah, well, that is coming up in chat. What is that feeling like to put just a hit on a guy that you know that you like,
right,
that you hit it just 100%?
Right. So I played baseball growing up in high school. I've hit a home run, and it'll be 1-0. We win by 1. So that home run swing, when you feel that baseball hit that fat water to the bat, that's just how it is in football. I lined them up. I used my speed. I used my intelligence. Tom Brady gave me a good fake. He just didn't go with the fake. And then he went to his go-to target. There's a 12 personnel. I knew both tight ends couldn't out. They couldn't beat me deep because they ain't that fast. So I just stayed patient and laid his ass out.
So, as you get a little more removed as a player from the game, are there some things you want to do in football still with your life, your career? What are those aspirations?
So my aspiration right now was to strictly coach the NFL. My younger brother coaches the high school level. I still like to pay. I want to really reestablish myself, show him that it wasn't a fluke. Wherever I went, it's going to change. The culture is going to change. My DB group, I would want to start off being a DB coach before I try to take on bigger challenges. But I know my DB group is going to be physical. They're going to be smart. And they're going to be leaders of their defense.
So you're thinking do you think it's a college path for you? Are you trying to get right back into the NFL? Like whatever comes first? What do you have a preference?
Right. So I know my ceiling, and sometimes it's just like this mid-level ceiling. So I could say whatever comes first, but I'm so stubborn. I want to be in the NFL. So that would be it.
I love it.
So, but it's never gonna be high school, bro. It's just one. I would go into a good situation like Texas, because that was my college.
Yeah, sure.
But other than that, hopefully Seahawks give me a job.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I'll whoop ass for years.
I mean, look,
Real talk.
The bottom line is, Brandon, I don't know about you, but if this man steps into a room to go coach TVs, I'm feeling good about that. I feel like we just got a lot smarter.
They just got to stay out. The only thing they got to worry about is just staying out of trouble off the field, because I know I have that flair. Some people may say it's the middle finger you have to some people may say it's an interception touchdown dance that just naturally comes. Some people may say it's just an open field tackle, but I just want these guys to be good human beings off the field.
Well, I think you're showing that out right now. I know you do everywhere you go.
Right.
In the way you answer and like how thoughtful you are. So I have no doubt about it. I'm sure you'll be getting a call hopefully real soon. And hopefully it's the Seahawks, man.
Yes, for sure.
That's where we all want you.
My legacy's here. I mean, these people treat me so really, they just treat me good. I love the 12s. Sometimes just feel like if this is a real draft day simulation, because everything's happening so fast, it's hard for me to give these people they just do, but they showed out for me today. It was sold out. Man, the trip on the ferry, I never took the ferry. There, I played here 8-9 years. Never took the ferry. It was a great experience. Me and my dad, we enjoyed every minute of it.
Dude, it's great because, I mean, there's folks watching you, and it might be tough to pick up digitally, but you could see your emotion come out right now live. That this got you in really good ways, and it's pouring out, man. So you showed out on the field. You're still showing out as a human. So, man, thank you for everything.
Yes, sir. So nothing ever turns me on like just being around football. You know, I have had a lot of time just to be to myself and just experience rest time, sleeping in. Because I always like, it's 7, 6 in the morning. I got to get up for practice. But I make sure I get my rest. So when I get back into it, I'm not playing no games with them. I let God lead. I watch what time I wake up in the morning just to say, okay, if I'm in a situation with the team, how would this be? So I'm never not doing anything. I'm always thinking about the game. I'm always thinking about my future. And hopefully God will keep me safe off the field where I won't get into anything and it hurts my chances.
All right. Well, I know you got to roll out of here, Earl, but I know you follow Texas football.
Right.
Who if you're in the room with John Schneider, who else do we got to take? I know the corner came off the board. Are there any guys at Texas that
I would. So this guy's not from Texas. He's from Texas, but he played college at Alabama.
Okay.
I would just get a backup quarterback and go with Jalen Milroe. I love Jalen Milroe. You know, a lot of people are talking about Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
And he haven't been drafted yet, right?
Shedeur, no. Dart just went.
Did he?
Ooh. So hopefully he gets drafted, but I want the Seahawks to get Jalen Milroe.
Our buddy Adam, he had Milroe.
I think Jalen Milroe has the same impact of the new quarterback that we got, but with his legs. We just got to stay ahead of schedule. People take the word or the phrase "stay ahead of schedule" for granted. He can really do it.
Yeah. And also, like now that you got Darnold there, there's no rush. You don't got to throw him in day one.
Play action. The play action game is going to be so messy.
But also you got Clint Kubiak, and he likes to do things on 3rd and 4th down, but he takes some help. All right, well then.
The Seahawks need all 4 downs this season. I'm not about to even give y'all mine.
No. So last year when they go get Grubb, right? I said, look, the number one thing I would like us to philosophically change is that we treat 3rd down as just the precursor.
Like 2nd down.
That's it. So get to 4th and 1, 2 or 3, and then go.
Exactly.
And we did, and like other teams do it. We didn't do it, and we suffer because
I think this team's gonna have a lot of success. We talked about Blue Fridays earlier.
Yeah.
It's a fast track when Sam Darnold was behind center. You could tell when the Vikings came. Maybe he need a bigger time playmaker in the receiver position, because he had the gritty monster. He had him. But we'll see how the running game impacts the play action game. They definitely got to have success in the running game to do what the Seahawks want to do. You saw Coach Carroll try to go get Genty. Genty ain't going to do anything for them. I'm be honest. He may have one good year, but I look at him as one small running back from Alabama. Right.
I got one more. I love the takes. One more for you. Next year, you get into the Hall of Fame or what? They electing you?
I should have been there this year.
No,
so,
we know. Yes.
So I'm gonna every year I'm gonna say I should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes,
I told myself this. Exactly. I can't keep on bringing myself to this conclusion. I'm just gonna beat you before you try to beat me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get again. I should be able to get Ring of Honor as well. I prayed about this. I've studied so much film. I try to separate myself so much. I know we all have these excuses about why we're so good, but the proof's in the pudding.
You're gonna get in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Love
You're
it.
gonna get there.
We appreciate you. Thank you guys.
Thanks for coming on the show.
This is a good podcast.
Anytime.
This is a good podcast.
Earl freaking Thomas on the podcast. That was incredible. Clinton's so excited that he's getting the chair, caught up in his cords.
So got to give a quick, I think she's still listening out there. So I'm in the hallway and Amy comes out.
Yeah.
Mr. Grasby. Amy comes out and goes, Earl Thomas's chair?
I just sat down in this chair. It feels like greatness.
Yeah. Did you just get better at football?
I got better at everything. Yeah. Just seeing that. That was so cool, boys. I can't wait to go back and listen and hear what everything Earl had to say, because your guys' faces were priceless. That was so much fun.
The important thing, as Jeff pointed out, clip it. Earl said, this is a good podcast.
There we go. That's it. That's all we need.
Oh, well, all it took was for me to leave.
Well, but he also was like, looking at this, he's like, ooh. But again, Amy was like, hey, Earl's sitting there, like, he's right there by himself. And I looked, and it was Mama Milloy. Sorry, I was going to look Mama Milloy with him. So I walked up and I said, "Pardon, Mama," and then she, recognized us, and then away it went. So, but shout out to Amy for pointing it out. It was great.
So did Earl really say this was nice?
Well, he looked at this and went, "This is a nice podcast. This is a good podcast." Oh. So this was part of the, his favor. Yeah.
So I'm not gonna lie, I knew Earl was gonna be here. I thought this might happen, and when I built this thing, the only thing I wanted in the world was for Earl Thomas to say it was nice.
Accomplished. That's awesome.
There you go. And a good moment for Brittany too, if she's not watching.
She was not long ago, but I don't know.
Love it. That was awesome. I mean, also super gracious guy. He's very thoughtful. You could tell, obviously,
the passion.
Well, streamed like you could tell. You could see it coming out of him. And you could see he thought about the end of his career a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. And you could see he's probably likely, not so harboring things, but he's thought about choices. And he's committed, and very clearly committed, to turn that page and getting back into football in a meaningful way. And I'm not going to doubt Earl Thomas. I'm sure he will. So.
All right. Well, I think that's a good way to end it tonight, boys, with Earl Thomas coming on the show. Hey, we'll stick around. We want to hang out with some of the folks here. If we do happen to jump back in to the first round,
come back on.
We will commit to coming back on.
Yeah, we'll put up the little screen, right, that says we'll be back, maybe.
Maybe.
We can put that on, and if it doesn't, then we leave.
Offer register, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. But look, that's a pretty good day, right? We take a guard. We need a guard. Take a guard.
I'm a happy boy.
Yeah. This thing was beautiful. We met a whole bunch of new flockers. Earl freaking Thomas appeared in the podcast and said he liked us.
I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.